All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back. After a week, we're going to continue with something really cool. So we're gonna do a little pivot in terms of how we do things. But hello, I actually missed you. Um, I'm glad to be back live streaming this series. How's it going? I see 6 of you are currently on. Hello, hello. Say hi in the chat. Say hi in the chat. All right. In the meantime, let me see if I'm not properly set up. I need to do not disturb. I need to change the resolution to something more like this, and then do something like change kitty profile to screencasting, and then do this, and now it's so much better. There we go. All right. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the 5th episode of Clean Architecture in Next.js. In this episode, we are gonna do something fun. So let's see what the notebook says. We're gonna introduce Inversify. So even though I wasn't streaming, I was still, you know, putting some code in, figuring things out, and I've been thinking, and I decided that the service locator is too big of a mechanism for us to have it in our code base, and for us to have the um, responsibility of maintaining it. Mr. True Player, welcome back. Thank you. Yeah, how's it going? So yeah, I've been thinking that it might be a too big of a mechanism for us to have it in our project and be have the responsibility to maintain it and fix bugs and evolve it. That's why I really paid a good visit to just like a looked into Inversify and how we can use Inversify to replace our service locator, so we don't have the responsibility to do the like dependency injection and stuff like that. And I did succeed. It put up a battle, by the way, but I did succeed to install Inversify, and I'll show you a little trick on how I got it set up. And I also have here, we can try to record a video on how to set up Inversify in a Next.js app, so that other people having the same issue will actually, not spend as much time as I did to set up Inversify. Then we have explain clean architecture again, and how Inversify fits into the whole clean architecture, and then also explain the new folder structure, which you might notice here. Actually, you don't notice it, but maybe you do now. Okay. We're gonna go through the new folder structure and how that fits into clean architecture, and why I decided to have a different folder structure. Newsflash, it's to be more, aligned to clean architecture by the book. So we're gonna look into that, and yeah, then we're just going to continue refactoring our application. Yeah, so let's go. Let's start with today's episode. We need to introduce Inversify. All right, so let me open Inversify. There we go. Hey Alex, hey Blake, how's it going? Okay, how do we do this? How do I try to explain Inversify, what Inversify is, while also recording a YouTube video about it? Well, let's see. I'm gonna put a marker. I'm gonna try. If it doesn't work out, it's all good. I'm just gonna circle back whenever I have free time, and I'm actually going to do another video on it. Hey, doing good. Came from Tech Tank Slack. Yeah, thanks for joining. Hey, nickname. Okay, let's talk about Inversify. So Inversify is a dependency injection or inversion of control container for JavaScript and Node.js apps. And it basically does support, or it's like the missing piece that you need in order to achieve all of these, clean architecture or layered architecture or any type of separation of concerns, modular architectures in your Next.js apps. Yeah, so installing this in Next.js was a little bit tricky, but I found a really cool way. Check this out. First, you need to just install it. So if I go to package.json, I only have, where is it? Inversify. There we go. Inversify at the time of recording this video is 602. Yeah, just install Inversify. And then you need to set up your dependency injection container. So inside source, I have a di folder and a container.ts, right? So this is our main container for the app. We have the modules, for example, a module for the authentication, the collection, the collections, and links. And these are basically features in your application. Here's how we create the application container with the default scope set to singleton, but you can change this. This is basically how you want Inversify to instantiate your services or use cases or whatever. And then we just initialize the container by loading all of the modules that, make up our backends. We invoke the initialized container and we just export a getInjection function that we can use across our app to get these services, right? That's it. Let's pick the collections module so we can get a better idea to what it is. So the collections module is a container module type that comes from Inversify. And what it does is basically it binds, in our case, an interface with a specific implementation. So we have an iCollections repository. It uses a symbol. Let me show you this. It uses like a symbol to identify all of these services and repositories and basically the injections. It binds this interface to this implementation of it, and it does this at runtime. So in here we have an opportunity to use environment variables or use some type of, or just come up with a way to change what gets bound to what interface. So in our case, this is using the, production collections repository that actually uses Supabase to interact with the database. But this might be wrapped with something like this. If process.environment.node environment equals production, then we want to do this. But what if, for example, we want to do testing, right? In this case, what we can do, how is the environment? Oh, it's just test. Yeah. In this case, we can do mock collections repository. We don't have it right now, but this is what you can do, right? If it's testing, register this. If it's production, register this. And what this allows us to do is later in the application, when we're, building our business logic and stuff, we can say, give me the service or give me the injection that is bound to this interface. And depending on the environment, it's going to return us either the mock collections repository or the actual production. If you have a staging deployment, you can do that here as well. So this is what basically Inversify allows us to do, right? We have the modules, and this is the collections module, so it registers the collections repository and the collections use cases. And I'll talk about this later. And we get this here, we load it up, and as I mentioned, we use the getInjection to actually get the instances of those services. So let me show you how everything looks like. I'm going to go into the applications, use cases, and let's go to the collections use case, right? This is the class. It is a use case class. It is marked as injectable. That's how you tell Inversify that you're going to treat this and inject this class in constructors and such. And inside of this constructor, you can already see that we are injecting the authentication service, and we're also injecting the collections repository that I just showed to you. But we're using the interface as the type for the types, and also the symbol for the container to identify what or which repository or which injectable we want to inject into this class. So when we run this in production, we're going to be using the production collections repository. When we run unit tests, we're going to be using the mock collections repository because we don't have a database during testing. If we want to spin up a preview or a staging environment, we don't need to change our code. We just need to change how we register these services and repositories and use cases, how we register our mechanisms, if you will. So that is basically Inversify, right? This is how we use it here. We're also registering the use cases. We need to, because these use cases, even though they do not have an interface and they do not have different implementations per use case, we still need to register and inject them because in the constructor they do use they do inject other services, so they need to be wrapped with Inversify as well. And how we use these, let's go to collections and actions. So these are Next.js server actions right here. And if you see here in a create collection server action, we're using the getInjection method that I just showed you previously to get the instance of the collections use cases. And the collections use cases is basically a service that exposes different methods for working with collections. And as you can see down here, we have a collections use cases.create collection. It receives an input and then it gives us a type, a specific type back, right? Just a simple service. But all of the code inside is properly set up. We're using the repository here, we're using the authentication service here, and these are injected and registered depending on what the environment is being set, or we can even dynamically register them at runtime. So if you just do this and run this, you're going to have issues. What you need to do is also install the reflect metadata package. And because dependency injection needs reflections, you do need to install this package to enable JavaScript to, reflect the metadata that you set up from building the classes and such. I do not understand the entire aspect of, reflections and the what the reflect metadata package does, but basically it does export some additional info for each of the classes and interfaces, and that's what Inversify uses to achieve dependency injection, right? So you need to install this one as well. For the types, you need to go to your tsconfig file and set up the, which were they, experimental decorators, the @injectable that we saw. You need to enable experimental decorators and also emit decorator metadata. This is, you can also read this in the documentation site. Here's the Inversify, here's reflect metadata, here's the two properties, the two compiler options that I just talked about. But in Next.js, that's not all. What you also need to do is bring in the reflect metadata package. Let me show you. The reflect metadata polyfill should be imported only once in your entire application, because the reflect object is meant to be a global singleton. Yeah, this doesn't really work well in Next.js. So I tried importing reflect metadata everywhere, and it still didn't work. So after battling it with it for some time, I actually figured that the solution that worked the best is to go into your next config file and override the webpack configuration. Use the banner plugin, which gets all of the compiled chunks after building it. It gets all of the compiled chunks, and it does add a banner text, which is at the top of the file. The banner plugin is usually used for, adding documentation and or license and stuff like that. But in this case, we're going to use it to add that reflect metadata. And I know that this is going to add it in all of the chunks, but so far, I haven't seen any side effects. So doing this will work both when you run your app locally and also when you run your app in Vercel. So I tried this, it works in Vercel. I still haven't found any side effects, but using the banner plugin seems like the straightforward way to import and make the reflect metadata package work in Next.js. So this is a Next.js specific issue or a challenge that you need to overcome, and this is how I found, this is the best way that I found to overcome it. So that is basic Inversify, and let's just like test it out and see if it works. Here's the buffet app that we just saw. Am I running this? Yes, I am. You saw that there was the collections actions, right? The create collection. We're using the getInjection method here to obtain. Where is it? Oh, it's not there. Collections actions. We're using the getInjection method that we just saw previously to obtain the instance of the collections use cases, which we registered in our collections module. And then we're going to use it to create a collection. And inside of it, it also uses the collections repository, which is also injected through the container. And the collections repository uses Supabase under the hood to create the collection with the input that we sent. So if we do create collection, hello stream, how are you? And we hit create. There we go. The collection is created. It's in the database. Let's just go to Supabase, go back to public collection. There we go. Hello stream, how are you? So everything works nicely. Everything works as expected. And the good thing is that we didn't actually need to depend on Supabase in our application. It's all like the whole logic is tucked away, and we can just use interfaces to communicate with the business logic without necessarily, implementing database specific stuff or Supabase specific stuff. It's just there. So that is Inversify. That's what Inversify allows us to do. Yeah. And this is going to be the ending of the video parts. And thanks for watching. If you like this, share this with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. And that was the video. We actually recorded a video. But yeah, is everything all right? Is everything clear with what Inversify is and how we can use Inversify to support our, clean architecture adventure that we're doing here? Let me catch up with the chat first. Oh, we don't have the chat. Hold on. Let me fix this real quick. We are missing the chat. Yeah, I need a better... Is this it? There we go. I need a better way to have the chat here. But yeah, okay, let's see. Gary, hey, new to your stream and Next.js. Thanks for tuning in, Gary, and welcome. Sami, hey, any reason not to continue with the service locator? Yeah, I felt like it's too much responsibility to maintain that piece of code, which has nothing to do with our application. With what we're doing, any of our application, to be honest, and your application that you're going to be building. Um, nickname, I took. Oh, Cabral is here. Hey, Cabral. I took the plunge and set up NeoVim. A whole world is opening for me. Yeah, you're in for quite the ride. Hey, FTA, how's it going? I was inspired by your videos to try Vim motions in VS Code. Glad I did. I do use VS Code like NeoVim. Yeah. More like NeoVim, but just in terms of navigation, but not actually, plugins and stuff. True player. I just wondered what you found in the service locator approach that this method was better than. We ran into issues with caching. We ran into issues with what were the issues? Caching was one of them. Instantiating services was one. For example, we had the authentication service, and the authentication service got instantiated with the first request and then cached. And then the second request, which didn't come from that user, actually used the previous user's credentials to do that. So we had some caching issues, and yeah, I didn't know. I mean, we could spend some time fixing them, but then I also figured we can just use Inversify and offload the whole functionality to a package that is widely used, that is well tested, and it's made for that specific purpose. So that's why I thought maybe Inversify will be a better approach than just the service locator. Hey Harsh, nice to see you. Yeah, Sami, can you show the DI types, please? It's a type interface. If so, how are we able to pass it as an argument to... Yeah, I'm gonna show it to you now. Let's go to... Where are we now? Here, we should be here. DI types. Export const DI types. The key is the name of the service or repository or use case, whatever we want to register. And the value is just a symbol for that string. Literally just strings, but wrapped with symbols. That's what is recommended by the library itself. Use symbols to... let me just find that for you. Let's go to docs. Yeah, support for symbols. There's also support for classes, but symbols are the recommended way to register and identify your services and everything that your injectables. Yeah, let's call them injectables. Yeah, it's basically just an object that uses symbols, and then use the symbols to inside of the inject as the first argument to identify what injectable you want to bring in, and then it's going to return that instance of whatever you registered at the time. Yeah, so these are the DI types. Nothing simple. Nothing simple. Very simple, nothing complex. Manas, could you please share some thoughts on resolving the domain in a multi-tenant app? What is going to be the best way to implement the domain in a multi-tenant app? You mean the models? Like you have different types of user models? Something like that? Yeah, let me know what you mean by that, and we'll figure it out. In the meantime, I'm going to go into the next section, which is explaining the clean architecture again, and how we can use Inversify now to achieve clean architecture by the book. So up until this point, we had like an architecture that's something between clean architecture and layered architecture. It was good, it wasn't bad, but I found that if we just use Inversify, we can be fully clean architecture by the book. And let me go to eraser so I can show you the new diagrams that I draw. Yeah, so this was our old architecture, right? This was our old diagram that we drew in episode 1. And it does look like it is like layered architecture, but it also ticks all of the boxes of clean architecture, meaning it is modular. You don't need to You don't need to, there's no mention of database in the persistence layer. The business layer does use the persistence layer. Again, no database stuff here. Everything is communicated with an interface, etc. Separation of concerns, right? But clean architecture looks like this. And I had to redraw this diagram to show it later in a different light. So even if you go clean architecture from the clean coder blog, from the OG, this is it, right? We have web, use cases, entities, everything. But I wanted to draw it again. So here's our clean architecture, right? We have the web and UI at the outermost layer, and I'm gonna say layer just because I don't know any a better name for it. It doesn't mean that it's, you know, layered architecture or anything like that. Just, you know, trying to communicate. So this is one layer, right? And the bottom is infrastructure. And if you go back, you can see that we have the web here, the UI here, and the DB here. And it's not really clear how web and UI and DB are in the same ring, right? It wasn't really clear. So yeah, and inside we have use cases, and then inside we have models. The point is that the dependencies are inwards pointing. So web depends on the use cases and imports use cases and uses use cases. But use cases do not import anything from the web. Use cases do import from the models. Web might not actually implement from you know, from the models, but it's not bad because it's, you know, in a transitive way, it does depend on models as well. If use cases depend on models, then web depend on models because web depends on use cases. You get the drift, right? But then we have the infrastructure. And how do we have which is the DB, by the way. How do we have infrastructure depend on the use cases, and web UI depend on the use cases, while infrastructure and web UI do not touch? This diagram does not really show you that. I made it clearer. Here's a better clean architecture diagram that works, and it's much cleaner. It helped me understand, you know, the rings. I really needed to put them as like layers in a hierarchy, because we are in a way explaining a hierarchy of dependencies, right? So this is how it looks like. The web, you know, depends on the application layer, which are the use cases, you know, and also the infrastructure interfaces, right? So infrastructures, the infrastructure layer or segment or zone or space, I don't care. The infrastructure layer holds the repositories and any shared services like authentication service, email service. For example, user signs up, you want to send them an email. You're not going to put that in an application. You're going to put it in a service. And it's going to be in the infrastructure because it's shared across multiple use cases, etc. And then we have the entities at the bottom, which are the models, the errors, you know, the common errors that we have defined. They're all at the bottom, and basically all of the layers have access to them. And that was the case with our initial architecture as well. You see, the DTOs, which are domain transfer objects, which are in a way models, but not database models, them and errors were shared across the layers, right? The persistence layer is here. It is used by the business layer, but clean architecture by the book uses dependency injection to use, you know, to use the repositories and anything from the persistence layer. And how that is happening without explicitly importing or implementing, you know, like using stuff from the infrastructure layer is through interfaces. So we have repositories, right? We have the collections repository, we have the links repository. Those interfaces, the contracts, are defined in the applications layer, but are implemented in the infrastructure layer, so that when we get into, you know, get in with Inversify and want to register stuff, Inversify will hook up the repository with this interface. And inside of the use cases here, we're using interfaces that are defined inside of the application layer. So we're not importing anything regarding the implementation of repositories or databases or anything like that. This line right here is where you need dependency injection. You don't need dependency injection here. You don't need dependency injection here because you're literally pulling in, you can pull in directly from the application layer from the web UI because it does depend on it, right? But for this line to function, you need a dependency injection mechanism. You need Inversify in a way. So yeah, the infrastructure interfaces for the services, for the repositories, everything is defined in the application because this is where we use them. We just keep their definitions here. So if this layer basically accesses, external services and also any databases that you might have. Everything is defined here and implemented here, but the dependency is this way. It's not that way. In our initial architecture, it was a direct dependency, right? The business layer depended on stuff from the persistence layer. But in this case, it's the other way. It's flipped because the interfaces are here and the implementations are here. The infrastructure layer, to be able to implement the interfaces, it needs to import them. So there's the dependencies. The dependency here, the infrastructure depends on the application, not the other way around. And so for it, so we can prevent the other way around of dependency, we use a DI container like Inversify, so that inside of the application, we can say, give me whatever implementation you have registered for the iCollections repository. I don't care if it's a database. I don't care if it's a mock repository. If we're working with JSON files, I don't give a damn. I'm the application layer. I don't care about the implementations. I need a repository that knows how to save this file or update this collection or unpublish this link, etc. That's basically how this line, I should even color this in a different way. That's how this line works. That's where we need dependency injection so that we can achieve, clean architecture by the book. And this is clean architecture by the book. It's the same diagram. It's just presented in a different, way, which to me is much clearer than the rings and the, circle diagram. Now I see what depends on, I see much clearer, basically, if you will. I see that there's nothing between these two. And there is a line here, and I said it, set the line there, but there is no line here. So UI and external interfaces and DB and everything is just mushed together in one single ring, and that tells me that it's all in the same place. It's not. It's two different places that have a hard line between them. So that is clean architecture by the book, presented in a different way with a different diagram that actually helped me understand that better. In order to implement this, here's what I did. And I'm going to hide my camera because we're going to be looking at the folder structure right here. Next.js app, right? The app folder has everything from the web UI. It has the screens, it has the pages, it has the server actions. Those are here. The API, routes, pages, server components, server actions, browser stuff, everything is in the web UI and everything is in the app directory. This used to be inside of the source. But when I started to refactor this, we had the app directory in the source and then we had application. That's not good. So I needed to move some stuff around. Next.js allows you to either have a source directory or to have the app directory, at the root level. And that's actually what I did. I moved the app directory at the root level because it allows us to, while in source is everything, every functionality that our backend has. So there's the application layer. Inside we have repositories, services, and use cases. And the repositories are not the implementation, but they are the interfaces. So we have the collections repository.interface.ts. I decided that putting a .interface.ts is a clear way to indicate that this is an interface file. It's not an implementation file because it's in the application folder, in the application layer. So if we click on it, we're going to see, let me just hide this, we're going to see that it's only an interface. It uses stuff from the entities, right? Application uses stuff from the entities, and it just defines what capabilities does a collections repository implementation need to have. It needs to be able to create a collection, to get a collection by a fingerprint, to get a collection for the user, to get the user's collection, to update the collection, and to delete a collection. That's everything the collections repository need to do. We don't care about the implementation here, right? So those are the repositories. The services, again, interfaces, right? This is the authentication service. The authentication service needs to provide us functionality to get the user, the currently logged in user, to sign in with a specific provider or with a password, to sign up, reset and password, and requests reset password. Forgot password is that. Requests a reset password email. So that's the services. Both belong to the infrastructure layer. Repositories and services, the implementations, are in the infrastructure, but their interfaces are defined in the applications layer, right? So those are these. And the use cases are directly implemented here. We can like do use cases as a class. We can also create individual classes for every specific use case, because in this shape, this class is more of a service than use cases. And what is the difference between a collection of use cases and a service? I don't know. We might be talking about naming in this case, but yeah. Some people create individual files for this. For example, the collections use cases, it's going to be one file for the create collection. And it's going to be create collection use case, or create collection.usecase.ts. Then we have the get public collection. You would also create a different file for this. In our case, I think it's a simple app. It's okay. I think it's okay if we keep them as one class that implements all of the use cases that are about, collections or links or whatever feature you have or domain you have in your application. And because we have a class, these can be functions, of course, but because we have a class, we have the opportunity to inject our services, our, let's say, authentication service and our collections repository, right? And then we just use them in these functions. So this was simple enough for a simple application. If this grows, this file can get very big, and this class will, will become a big class. And someone might argue that, you're going to be breaking, or this already breaks the S from solid principles. Right, solid principles. You remember those. S stands for single responsibility. Where was it? Yeah, the single responsibility principle. And that was, a class should only do one thing and should have only a single reason to change. And in our case, it's like, in our case, we have a collections use cases. That class implements use cases. And if we change the links use cases, we're not going to change the collections use cases class, right? But if that class was a sorry, let's go back. There we go. If that class was just a create collection use case, that would have been more obvious that we're not breaking the single responsibility principle, right? That class will have only a single reason to change, and that's going to be if the way that we create collection changes, but nothing else. That is the single responsibility. But I wouldn't sweat it too much. This is, yeah, I wouldn't sweat it too much. This is like it's good to know. It's good to keep a mind on. But in this case, it's simpler and better for an app like this, of this size. It's simpler and also better and more responsible to use one class to implement your. It's not even 100 lines of code. There's not too much functionality in this class. So it's better if you just do this. Yeah. So these are the use cases. DI is the containerization and the dependency injection and stuff like that. And we already saw this one, right? Here's the authentication module. It only grabs the interface from the application. See that at the top, interface from the application, and the implementation from the infrastructure. That's DI. And it maps the interface to this implementation. This is where, again, we can conditionally register. This is where we can conditionally register stuff. And what's cool about Inversify is that it also allows us to do this runtime, right? Technically, I can go in a use case and let's say create collection, and I can do, unregister collection service and re-register as something else in the middle of the use case. Do we want to? No. Will we ever? I would for sure say never. We won't ever need to do that. But it allows you to. It sets this up at runtime. This is in runtime. Technically, you can do some stuff like that, but it'll just make the code unpredictable, if you ask me. So that's DI, right? We have the container, the main container. There it is. You can change how your injectables will be instantiated. The options are singleton, per request, or transient. I'm not exactly sure about the what transient is. Request is instantiate a new and just do new service every time we request that service, every time we use this function getInjection. And singleton is registered at the first time and then just keep that always. We did have the issue with the authentication module, but we solved it. Inside, let me just show you interface. Yeah, we'll see that later. But that's basically DI. And the types, as I mentioned, are just symbols. So that's DI. Then we have the models, the entities layer, which was at the bottom of our architecture. And everybody, every layer uses everything from the entities, whether that's errors or models, etc. And that's what we have. We have errors and models inside. Errors, I just have two files, authentication errors, which we have an auth error, which is like a vague auth error. There's an auth error, something happened, and a more specific one, unauthorized. Right? This is more of an unauthenticated, right? You're not even logged in. What are you trying to do? And this is, you are logged in, but you don't have permissions to do this. Then we have the common, which is an operation error. Again, a very vague type of error. Just, we need this just so we don't, pass through database specific errors. And we have a not found error, which we use in the, when we try to obtain something from the database, but it doesn't exist. So those are the errors, and the models are literally just Zod objects. There's like one main schema, and the actual model that we're using in the application is the type that we infer from the schema. So that is in our old architecture, this part right here, the DTO. We're going to use Zod to convert a result from the database into a more, into an entity type. And also make sure that, the result, the data is valid. So that's basically that. Those are the models and the entities. The other files are literally the same, schemas and types using the infer. There are some merges as well, I think. Yeah, you can pick out stuff. For example, here's the main link schema, right? But if you want to insert a link or create a link, we just need the label and URL from the main schema, right? That's how I set it up to be. And then we have the infrastructure and we have the repositories, and these are the implementations, right? We have the interfaces in the application, we have the implementations in the infrastructure. And here is collections repository. As we can see, the infrastructure layer imports stuff from the application layer. And that's fine. That is come on now, zoom out. There we go. That is perfectly fine. This is that line, right? Infrastructure imports stuff or depends on stuff from the application layer. There it is. It uses the models because, of course, the application layer uses models. Then, of course, transitively, infrastructure and web UI are also going to use or have access to the entities. And we also have some utilities. Let me just bring myself back up. We also have some utilities. Hey, Yasin, how's it going? Manas, I saw your message, but I'm going to read through it in like a few minutes. Then we have like utilities, map postgrest error to domain error. We keep them in the infrastructure layer, of course. These are Supabase specific stuff, right? And here's what happens. We get a postgrest error here. If the code is like PGRST116, which stands for not found, we're just returning a new not found error. And inside of the repository, we just throw whatever this function gives us. So this function receives a specific postgrest error, and based on the code, it returns us an error that is from the entities layer right here. So when we use these, or when we try to catch these errors, we're not going to be importing stuff from Supabase package, right? In the use cases, in the application layer, whatever we are, we're not going to be importing stuff from Supabase. We're just going to be importing stuff from entities because application has access to entities and web UI has access to entities, but web UI and application do not have access to whatever's in here. That's how we can separate these things. So yeah, I think this works fine. Yeah. That was the utilities. We saw the repositories, we're mapping it. It's a class that implements the interface that we defined in the application layer, and it literally just implements it. There we go. Create collection, use Supabase or Drizzle or whatever you're using for a database, Even error happens, map it out with the utility function and throw an entity type error, bubble it up. Whatever, whoever wants to catch it, they can catch it. The application or web UI, that's up to us, But this layer or this function does not care about who catches it. Just throw it up. Yeah. And yeah, it just implements the interface, right? At the end, we have the collection schema.parse. Again, collection schema, where it is. There we go. It's a model. It comes from the entities. Perfectly fine to have this inside of the infrastructure layer. The schema is the functionality, and the insert, collection, and update are the types that are inferred from the main schema. But the main schema allows us to get the data that we have from Supabase, parse it, make sure that it's valid, make sure that the rest of the application expects that type of data, and then it just returns, let's see, it returns the type of that schema, which in our case is going to be the collection type, right? So after we create a collection, we get a collection type back. We don't know if it's a Supabase data. We don't know if it's a Drizzle data or, just, I don't know, any type of database that you might be using, a Mongo data. No, it's a collection, right? That is the domain. And that's how we can keep things separated. That's how we can prevent, that's how we can keep our dependencies in order, basically. And we reached the last layer, right? We have the services here. Here's the authentication service if you want to check it out. It is injectable. These are the decorators that we mentioned. It's like stuff are called decorators in all languages. In Python and in Java, they're all decorators. It implements the interface, which comes from the application layer. It uses an authentication error that uses from the entities. And it does what it needs to do. Get user returns the currently logged in user. Sign in with provider does exactly that. Here's Supabase, use the sign in with OAuth. If we're using Lucia, we're going to be using Lucia here, right? But the rest of the app won't care. That's all. So these are the services. We're going to have like an email service here. So after we sign up our users, we're also going to send them an email. Welcome to our app, or confirm your, click here to confirm your account. So we, to implement like a one barrier against spammers and stuff. That's pretty much it. Yeah. And utilities are just, these are all Supabase related stuff, Supabase errors, how to create a client, Supabase client. This one is, we never use this one. I personally don't use this one anywhere. See, it's not being used anywhere. But if it is going to be used, it's going to be used here. So should it be in the infrastructure? No. Technically, it shouldn't, because, I deleted the infrastructure. If it does, that means the web UI, which is the browser in our case, will depend on stuff from the infrastructure. And this is a big no-no. We cannot do that. That's why if time comes, I'm just going to move this into the app directory, because that's where it belongs. Okay, that's it. And this is just for Supabase. Here's the middleware, and this is the same middleware. And where is it? This too should not be here. This should be here because we're actually using it in our middleware. Where is it? Oh, it's in source middleware. This is a Next.js specific file. It has to be in source and it has to be called middleware. That's it. And this is where we pull in the infrastructure. I will still consider this to be the application layer, because it interacts with a framework specific functionalities, like you see, like this. So yeah, if it touches Next.js, it's here, but it also touches files from infrastructure, and this is not valid. So I need to fix that. I need to move some files around. But yeah, that should change. And yeah, services. These are the old services. I already implemented them in use cases. I just need to delete them. But I haven't finished refactoring the whole app. For example, if we go to references, we can see that this is being used. See? This is being used. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to continue refactoring the application. We're going to rip out the service locator because it's still here. It's still breathing. We're going to rip it out from the application and just rely completely on Inversify. Right? This was good. I like how this is looking, if I'm being honest. Okay, let's see some messages now. I meant this subdomain, and this is from Manas. I meant these subdomains / models, which, okay, let's go back a little bit. with each tenant could have. I need to validate the domain first because serving other contents. I'm new to Next.js, not sure whether it's going to be the best practices or valid. Validate the domain. Main goal is to validate the domain once from the DB and generate a cookie to offload the transaction. I'm not sure I still understand that. Hey, Yasin, how's it going? It's going well. Today hot information here. Yeah. I think you can validate, this is from Sami, I think you can validate subdomains in the middleware and rewrite the routes. Not sure what cookies you're talking about. If that's the case, yeah, the middleware file that we just saw, this basically happens on every request, on every server action, on every page visit, on every navigation, every time. So if you want to do some stuff here, you can do some stuff here. You have the requests. With the request, you have the cookie, right, and everything. This is, let's say, this is the web UI. You should have access to the application, and you can, develop use cases, or you can use DI directly to grab an instance of the, I don't know, the authorization or authentication service, pass the cookies or pass the user, and redirect, do or change the headers or change anything you want to do. And because you have access to the application, you have also access to the entities. If you're passing data, as part of the request, you can use an entity to create it, to validate it, and I guess that's how you can tackle that issue. Oh my god, hi. Wouldn't a monorepo make sense here to separate the concerns, application interface, etc.? Yeah, a monorepo will definitely enforce you to not depend and to like prevent these types of stuff from happening. We are in we're in Next.js land now, but we're using stuff directly from the infrastructure. This is a big no-no. If you were in a monorepo, you can't do that because this package will not depend on the infrastructure. So there's no way to pull in and import stuff from the infrastructure. Yeah, that's good in a bigger application. But for smaller applications, I guess this is fine as well. Just pay attention to that. There was also an interesting package for making sure that for unit testing your architecture, and someone shared it. Chat, if someone of you remembered, please send it again. I don't know if it was Cabral or I don't remember, but someone sent it. It's basically exposing jests, or I think it was jest functions that you can use to make sure that these imports don't happen. And it was basically like a unit test where you can say everything inside of app should not have any imports from @/infrastructure. And if it finds that, it will just, it'll just fail the test. The test will fail your CI/CD, and you will not deploy to production. I don't remember the package name. Yeah, it was on GitHub. I put a star. Let's see. Check out my stars. Yeah, TS Arch. There we go. I'm gonna paste this in the chat so y'all can see. There it is. So yeah, this is basically how you can, if you really want to enforce, your architecture, you can write unit tests for that. How cool is that? Kevin, thanks for the sub. But yeah, here's the rule. The files of the project in the folder business, in this case can be app or whatever, should not depend on files in the folder UI. Look how clean this is. And this is gonna fail. If there is a file, if there's a JavaScript or whatever it is inside of the business folder and it imports stuff from the UI, it's just gonna fail. I love this. This is like super clean. Yeah. Hey Likando, how's it going? Yeah, and What else is here? Philip asks, can we find this somewhere on Git? There's gonna be a video where we implement this from scratch, and I mean create Next app from scratch, from zero project. We're gonna create the project, set up all the dependencies and stuff, explain clean architecture again, and we're gonna build like a mini to do, or some app like that, and that's gonna be like open source. Right now, what we have here is just my app called buffet.sh. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I decided to keep it closed source for the time being. But yeah, I'm just using this as a good project because it has some features. It has a database, it has authentication and everything. So I'm just using this to figure out how clean architecture would fit the best in Next.js. And I guess we are pretty much at the end. As you can see, we have this looks like the structure looks good. We figure out like all the gotchas and everything to isolate stuff properly, except from some stuff like this. But the only thing that remains to do is write unit tests and implement mock versions of like services and repositories. And if we manage to achieve that, that's going to be our certification, basically, that we actually achieved clean architecture. It supports unit testing, and it supports, it has a DI. There is no, and the dependencies are in order, basically. Yeah. Kevin asks, what background theme am I using? So this is NeoVim, and you can check out my dot files on the GitHub repo that I'm gonna send in the chat right now. Yeah, so that's it. I love the architecture and your philosophy behind it. Would love to get a better look at it. Thanks. Yeah, I'm also, impatient to start working on this project and to have like a better video, because right now we're on episode 5. It's gonna be a 3-hour stream. That means 5 times 3. It's like 15 hours of content that you should not go through to understand this. I'm gonna prepare a different video where I'm gonna explain everything in less than an hour, maybe even 30 minutes, so you don't waste 15 hours. This is just me figuring things out. I'm making mistakes, and I'm just like trying to see how everything fits together. But I think we already have the full picture that we need to have, right? So yeah, it's gonna be. I missed the stream. Samyaza, yeah, well, I can say yeah. We've done so much since we started in this 1 hour and 6 minutes. But yeah, feel free to rewatch it. It's a lot. Okay. Next on the list, I don't have anything specific. I just have continue refactoring, right? So let's keep on changing the functionality that I have here, in order, if that's how I identified a lot of the issues, just by refactoring. We did one thing and it worked great, but then off the camera, when I tried to refactor some more stuff, and this happened multiple times, when I try to refactor more stuff in my free time, so I don't waste all the time refactoring stuff here on stream, but more explaining and learning things, I actually found the majority of the issues off the camera trying to refactor more of the stuff. So yeah, I don't have anything. We have, Inversify, we have dependency injection, we have a new folder structure. The services are still here, as you can see. We need to rip these out and also kill the service locator. If we manage to do that and everything is correct, that's like one more check mark for the validity of our architecture. And then the final check mark will be unit tests, and that's basically, that officiates things. It's gonna make it official. So yeah, let's keep on refactoring, I would say. So I'm gonna start with the collection service, because I think it doesn't use it's like it doesn't use anything. So this is in the service locator. And again, this is in service locator. So it's free to say that we can we can remove this because it's not being used anywhere except the service locator, and we're just gonna remove the service locator. Let's see the links service. Go to references, service locator. I've actually refactored a decent amount. I say this service locator. Okay, so the only thing that we need to rip out is service locator. I'm gonna delete this file, and this file, and we'll only end up with this service locator. It's gonna crash, of course, it's gonna yell, all good. Let's see where the service locator is being used. And it's being used in 21 places in our application. So this is the collection actions. And this is the links actions. And that's it. And it's being used within itself as well. So we have two files to refactor. Let's start with the collections actions, right? Here's the service locator. Goodbye, service locator. This is how we obtain instances from the DI container. Just get the injection, put in the use case there, you got it. There we go. So we need the collection service again. Here's the collection service, and it's called use cases. It's not called service. You know what? You can also call it use cases if you want. It's not gonna change a single thing. We need to handle errors here, but we'll circle back. Collection service again. Use cases. Collection service again. Use cases. And this time it's collection link service. So that's going to be collection link use cases. And this is a different use cases file. And also make sure to change the symbol to collection link use cases. There we go. Collection link use cases, add link to collection. Beautiful. There we go. Do we have more? We do have more. Collection link service. There's the collection link stuff. Use cases here. Collection link. Again, same stuff. And that's it. Okay. That was it for this file. We're going to go to links actions and rip out the service locator from this file as well. There we go. Link service. Do I have it? No, I don't have it. So I'm going to go back to collections, actions, and to just copy paste this block because I don't want to type it out manually. And in this case, let's bring in the getInjection. Let's bring in the links use cases because this is the links file. Rename this to links use cases and also bring out the DI types file. And links use cases symbol. There we go. Links use cases, create link. Yeah, no yelling. It's happy. Here we go again. I believe we can do this. Let's try something. I want to try something. I want to do this. I'm going to use the sed command to find links service. Let me actually go here. How was the telescope? Was it like this? Damn. Let me see. Vim sed. Yeah, we did command S, the pattern, the string, and flags. Okay, maybe there's like flags that we need to set. G. Oh yeah, the G flag. Okay, let's see. So search, put the flag here, links service, and I want to replace it with links use cases. Pattern not found, links service. Okay. We can see that it's here, but yeah. Let's just go by foot then. Use cases. I could also use the search and replace command using Vim Spectra, but I don't think it's like too much. So let's just be lazy and do this by hand. Collection link. Collection link use cases. Collection link use cases and bring that in. Collection link without S use cases. There we go. Collection link use cases. And that's it. So that means officially we are done. Where is it? We're done with service locator. It's actually not being used anywhere except within itself. See? Source slash services slash service locator. That's all of the occurrences. So I can delete service locator and I can delete services. And here's our clean architecture now. Look how pretty this is. Application, entities, infrastructure. It's just beautiful. Yeah. Let's try to build this and see if there are any issues. No issues. You see that? So if I do npm run start and boot this up in like production mode, it should just be blazing fast, right? Yeah. Let's open this in incognito. There it is. Let's change the visibility to the YouTube channel. If I open it again in logged in, I'm still gonna see it, but if I refresh the incognito one, I'm not gonna see it because it's unpublished. So that works well. You know what didn't work? This one. So I have a link. If I do localhost / the link, it's gonna take me to my YouTube channel. But if I do that in incognito, in the actual in like the actual bfed.sh deployment, it doesn't work. See, it doesn't work here as well. So we need to take care of this. This is public by default. Yeah, if you create a link, it's there, and we need to take care of this. So I'm going to hit stop, and I'm gonna debug this now. Before I do that, because we can build our application, I just wanna push everything. We're still yet to handle errors. That's still on the list, but yeah. Removing service locator and replacing it with DI. Good enough. Git push, that's it. Okay, I'm gonna close up all of the buffers. Let me just not do this. B, I think it was O, delete other buffers, then BD. Well, it doesn't work like that. Okay. So I'm gonna go to app, fingerprint, and page. This, look at this. This belongs in a use case. This is way too much. This is way too much functionality. Or this is, yeah, everything that shouldn't be here, except for these things. Not found and permanent redirect. So let's actually refactor this. So when we land on this page, and where are the pages? Remind me again. Pages are in the web UI. We should not be using, we can use stuff from here, but we should not use stuff from here. Right, so, and the logic itself is here. The logic, the business logic should be here. You know, it should be, we should have like a use case where we say, give me the thing based on this fingerprint, whether if it's a client, sorry, it's a collection or a link, or nothing exists with that fingerprint. We don't care about Next.js in that case, right? We're literally just using repositories to figure out what does this fingerprint represent. Is it a link? Is it a collection? Or it's nothing? So we're gonna create a new use case that's gonna do that. It's going to return us, and this can be an ordinary, like a simple use case with just one, functionality, and that can be this. And it's going to throw or return stuff. It's going to return an object that contains a link or collection. Both are going to be nullable. We'll do the checks later. And it's going to throw if it doesn't find anything with that fingerprint. So let's do that. This is going to be like a good test to see how, single responsibility use case classes will look like in the application. So I'm going to go here. We need a good name for that. And of course, naming things is the hardest things in programming. How do we call this? We have a fingerprint that can belong to either a collection or a link. And we need to get that from the database, whatever it is. So what is that? What is that? It's not get link. It's not get collection. Get link or collection. It's a dumb name, right? It's not so smart, but it tells the whole story. If you pass it a fingerprint, it'll either return you a link or collection that has, that fingerprint. Yeah, let's do that. Get link collection dot use case dot ts, and let's do the dots. I like dot something dot ts. I really like that. So use cases do not implement any like interfaces. I'm not sure if this should be injectable, to be honest. I'm not sure. I believe this can be. I believe we can get away and not, not have this being injectable. And even not use DI. Just straight up, oh, but we can't. Yeah. We can't use directly use cases into our web. Just show you. We can't do that here. For example, we need to use the getInjection. We can't just do links cases equals new links use cases. We can't do this because this one expects us to pass the authentication service and link repository through the arguments, because these are defined inside of the constructor. They are injected, but if we try to instantiate this with the, straight away with the new keywords, we're gonna need to provide values. If we don't want to provide values, we'll just do getInjection. So yeah, we're gonna use DI stuff here in the web stuff, in the web layer. And I believe, but I believe we don't need to call these injectable, because we're not going to inject these use cases anywhere. And I'm going to prove that. Injectable means that it's going to be injectable in constructors. That's what I expect it to be. I'm not sure. I haven't read the full documentation or if Inversify. To be frank, Inversify could use, better documentation, because right now it's just all of these markdown files, and searching through it, it's not super clean and etc. And I don't know, but yeah, it means the injectable means that we can inject it in a constructor, but we don't do that to use cases. We do that to services and repositories. So let's just rip out everything. This is our new one, and here's the injectable. Go all the way to the top, save it, and I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna do npm run dev this time and just create a class so that we can see that everything still works the same, even though the use cases are not injectable anymore. The fact that we see collections here tells us that it should work, but let's just make sure. Let's just make sure. Damn it, I hit escape. Let's just make sure that use cases don't need to be injectable. Create. Okay, check this out. They do need to be injectable. Missing required injectable annotation in collections use cases. There it is. So I was wrong. They don't need to. They do need to have the injectable. But why did that happen? That was in app collections actions create here. Get injection use case, and it only does get. So I guess that is also considered an injection. Here's what we're gonna do. The only change that we made is create this file and rip out the inject. So I'm just gonna bring back the injects and keep the new file. There we go. Okay, we learned something. Export class get link or collection use case. That's going to be injectable, and we'll bring that in from Inversify. It's going to have a constructor, and we'll see what we're going to, we'll see what's we'll see what we're going to bring in. But the only thing that we want to export is async get link, or actually no. There's a pattern when you're doing these single responsibility use case classes, and that's an execute method that takes in an arbitrary shaped data. Let's see, JavaScript use case class. I've seen it in multiple. Let's see. I've seen it in multiple repos. Next.js inverse. I saw it there. Yeah, let's go. Melzar. Clean architecture, next React boilerplate. I've been picking apart this repo. It's way too complex for, to start with. Maybe you'll end up doing all of these things like down the road if you have a bigger app. But so far, in my app, which is a basic CRUD, with authentication, with database and everything, I didn't need to do all of these things. But maybe we'll end up doing these things. So let's go. Let's go to, I believe it was data store. No, data. Yeah, it is. I find it hard to navigate this repo. It's not really, it says clean architecture, but there's like data and data store. And what is data store? Is it, Wait, was it? Yeah, there we go. Use case. So everything is in domain. Domain, then you have the domain, then you have models, repositories, use cases. Yeah, this has a different approach. And I believe this is DDD by the book. So you have domains, you have packages. In our case, that's links and collections. And you have the models defined inside of the packages folder. You have the repositories, the interfaces. There we go. You have the use cases, everything. Yeah. Simon says injectable. Informs the Inversify what class needs to be added to the container. Yeah. It marks the class available. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was only should you make this injectable into a constructor, because injecting through the constructor happens automatically, whereas when we say application container.get, we kind of do it manually. But yeah, turns out it is, we do need it. So let's say use cases. See this one, fetch package.usecase.ts, right? Click on that. And there we go. It has an execute method. And these, what happened? These, like, the I use case interface here. I've seen it in other repos as well, where there's an execute method. It receives whatever. For example, if we click on the interface, search for the symbol. There we go. The interface takes in two types. First is the arguments type, and then is the return type, and it must implement an execute method. It takes in an array of those. Damn it, not again. That takes in an array of those A type of arguments, and then it returns the R type of return type. So yeah, execute. It's like a common pattern. So let's do that. We have the execute here. And we need to basically grab all of that logic that we had in the fingerprint page. This one, the whole thing, and implement it here. So to grab this first, we only need a fingerprint, right? That's all we need. We're gonna bring in the we're gonna bring in the repositories and everything. So let's do that now. I'm going to inject the DI types. Let's bring that again as well. I'm gonna inject the repository, let's say collections repository. And we're gonna say private underscore collections repository. And also I wanna inject the links repository. Am I doing this right? I don't seem like I'm doing this right. So let's go back to the use cases. Actually open this one. Oh, we need the type I collections repository, which is one function above. What is that? A comma, right? A comma, yeah. And then again with the same type, I links repository. Bring that in as well. Oh yeah, and when you import this, make sure they're imported as types, but not as interfaces. Damn it, as types, but use the type keyword, not type keyword. There we go. So we inject these two. I believe we're also going to need the authentication service. Bring that in as a type, not an interface. I want to change this to add application, just to, just so we don't use relative imports. We have a type alias anyways. There we go. So we have the both collections and the links repository, because we're going to try to get the link first. If it's a link, we're going to return like the redirect URL. If not, we're going to try to get the collection. If it's not a collection as well, we're just going to throw a not found error. Or if it's a collection, we're going to return the collection. There we go. So yeah, this looks complete. Let's get in then. Do we need the authentication service? I believe we don't need the authentication service. I might have made a mistake importing it, but we'll see. Let's try to get the collection first. So I'm gonna let a collection, and let's bring in the collection type from the entities, and I'm gonna try to get the collection. What am I doing? Links first. I want to get the link first, because if it's if it's a link sharing app and link shortening app, link should have should be we should try to get the links first, basically. Okay, so this links repository dot get link, and we can use fingerprint there. There we go. We can try to get the link. If the link exists, we're gonna return it. If it doesn't, it's gonna be the catch clause. What I'm gonna do is just return link like this. Okay, so execute will return a promise of a link so far, but it might not be the case because next time we're also going to return. We're actually gonna return a collection. So in here we wanna say if the error is an instance of operation error. We want to do, what is that now? No, operation error. And we need to bring it in. See, Copilot doesn't. There we go. I hate that lag. Because that lag, when Copilot injects the suggestion, that's when I actually hit the Y button. And that's when I accept that instead of, what I was selected on. In this case, if it's a not found, it's all right. We're not going to do anything. We're going to do that at the end. If it's a not found, just proceed. Maybe it's a collection. But if it's not a not found error and it's operation error, we need to send this to Sentry first, and then we need to rethrow it and let the UI handle it, right? Let the web handle it. Okay, moving on. It's not a link. Maybe it's a collection, right? So let's try the same. Collection equals await this collections repository dot get collection, I believe. Get collection with the fingerprint. There we go. If the collection exists, it is a collection. So I'm going to return that collection as an object, not as like return collection, but as an object. So the type, return type, check this out now. Execute. It's going to be a link or a collection. You see? In this case, link is defined, collection is undefined. In this case, collection is defined or link is undefined. Or everything is undefined. Yeah. Same thing. Return a collection, return a link. When we actually execute this, we're going to say const link, comma, collection equals get this, and we're going to say if it's a link, then redirect. If it's a collection, then render. If an error happens, then throw a not found or something like that. In this case, it's going to be different. So for example, if an error happens when we try to get the collection and the error is an instance of not found error, where is it? Here. This is where we want to rethrow it. Should we? We don't need to explicitly do that here. I'm going to throw error in this case. Otherwise, it's an operation error. Otherwise it's going to be an operation error. So I'm just going to put a to do here, send this to Sentry, so we can see that something else happened. It's not a not found, and throw it again. So if we look at this, we can say that if it's not an instance of not found, send it to Sentry, but throw it in all the cases. So let's try that. How do we do this? It's not an instance of? Is this gonna work? No, it's not gonna work. Interesting, yeah. If it's not, like, I don't, let's see. Okay, because we cannot negate the, we cannot add a bang operator here, like an exclamation mark. Maybe this, like, see if it's an instance of, and then like revert it, flip it. inverted basically. If that's the case, send it to Sentry because it's not just a not found. You know, the user shared it and then they deleted the collection. That's gonna cause a not found error. But if it's not, then it's something else. Then that means our app is most likely breaking. We need to send that to Sentry so that we can figure that out. But either way, just throw it because we are in the application layer right now. We want to catch this in the web. So there we go. In this case, we want to do this. Yeah. I just remembered clean code. It says that conditions like this if they should not be negative, not something. Like it's better if they are if something and then do something, and not with a exclamation mark. But in this case, I think this is smarter to do because our application logic just tells basically asks us to use the Sentry SDK to send this to Sentry, but then throw it in both cases. If we don't do this with the exclamation mark, we need to we need to go through all of the errors and all the potential errors in the future that might happen or might be created, and that's not going to be scalable, right? So I'm going to keep it as exclamation mark. Hey Halil, thanks for the sub, appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, here's the collection. If it exists, return it immediately. We don't want to do anything else. If the link exists from the first try, cool, even better for us, right? Otherwise, this is the collection. And if it doesn't exist, we're gonna throw the not found. And I believe that's it. We don't need the authentication service. That's it. This is going to return. This is either going to throw or return either a link or collection. So that's our logic right there. Let's go back to the fingerprint page now. Oh, hold on a second. We have this use collection. Yeah, link or collection use case, right? We need to register it in DI first, okay? And let's think about this. We have these modules. We have collections, we have links, and this is the junction table collection link module. I guess we can put it there because it's either this or that. Naming is bad. Yeah, I'm going to, I'm gonna be honest, and yeah, I messed up the naming in this case. But let's just put here. I don't know. Get a link or collection use case. Let's create a symbol for it. Get link or collection use case, not that one. Visual in Word, yank visual in these little quotes, paste. There we go. I love him, by the way. Get link or collection use case to get link or collection use case. This is like binding it to itself, but there is a to self type of method. It's not gonna work in this case. I don't know how that works, but it's not gonna. I tried it, doesn't work. Okay, that looks good. We are registering it. It's part of the collection link module, like the relationship module that handles stuff that's between these two. I feel like this is one of them, so let's just like keep it here. It's registered. We can use it now. Fingerprint page. We're here. We're just gonna scrape the whole thing. And check this out. Scrape the whole thing, okay? Let's bring in the get link or collection use case. GetInjection. The other brackets. Get link or collection use case. DI types. I hate that, I need to type all of these out. I do want to make this a lot shorter. To say getInjection, here's the one that I'm looking for, and it should figure it out on its own. Yeah, I guess we can work on this later. Instead, I guess we can just pass the type, and based on the type, we can grab the symbol from a map that we're gonna maintain. I don't know, we'll see. But here's the use case, right? Here's what we can do now. I'm going to let a link, set it to the link model. I'm gonna let a collection. Actually, we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna do a try catch block, and we'll see how things will fit. Now wait, get link or collection use case dot execute was the method for all of the use cases, and then we need to pass params dot fingerprint for the. We're gonna remove this, and this, check this out. It's going to give us either a link or a collection. You see, and both are potentially undefined. So only one of them is gonna be link or collection, or it's going to throw an error, which is going to be an instance of not found error. There we go. If that's the case, then we want to return a not found, which is an API that comes from the next package. Where is it? Next navigation, right? There we go. At this point, we want to do some stuff. So let's see. If it's a link, right? If it's a link, it is going to it's going to return a permanent redirect, which again, it's a API from Next.js, link.url. Otherwise, we want to render this whole page right here. And yeah, you see, we are actually using a collection there. Oh, we also have displayed links, and we need something. Yeah, we need some stuff. So let me let those first, because I want to do that. Let's collection. Is that gonna be the case? Like, is that collection? I was gonna let a bunch of stuff here, assign them here, actually here, after we make sure that it's not a link. Assign the values to them here so that we can render this block here. Let's see how that looks like. There's a collection, and then we also have displayed links, which is going to be an array of displayed links. And I think I already have a model for that. Let me see. Entities, models. Here's the relationship one. Collection links. Yeah, that's the case. It's an array of objects that have the visible, the order, and the link. And that's going to be another use case, I think. Yeah, that's going to be another use case. So, but yeah, this is going to be an array of collection link model. There we go. There we go. So if the collection exists, actually, if the collection, it's gonna exist. If it's an error, it's gonna be here. If it's a link, it's gonna end here. So at this point, collection must have a value. I'm not sure if TypeScript agrees with that. Actually, it does. You see? Yeah, collection dot. Let's see. Name equals collection dot fingerprint. Yeah, collection is definitely defined. Okay, cool. There's the collection. We just need a different name now. I'm gonna call it just C. Okay. I know it's bad. It's not descriptive at all, but it's just going to be localized here. So collection, we're going to assign it to C. Now we can say collection must exist now in this case, because this is going to prevent the execution from happening. This is going to prevent the execution from happening. If we reach this point to render out the UI, then collection is definitely going to be defined. So can we do this? I guess we're safe to say. And to prevent this from TypeScript from happening, yeah. Display links. Oh, it's something else. Okay, it is something else. So this is going to be an array, and we have a link inside, right? No, wait, this is... Oh, it's collection link. It's collection links. And it's not gonna be an array? What is going on? Yeah, I definitely need a better name for this. Collection links, visible order or link. Let me know what you think about naming junction tables. Like, I'm seriously struggling with this. Check this out. We have a collection, and the collection has... Let me hide my face. The collection has these properties, right? Fingerprint, created, title, description, yada, yada, yada. Then we have a link. The link table contains these properties: created, URL, label. But then when we want to add a link into a collection, we need to additionally hold if that's visible, if this link is visible in this collection. First, if it's added, then if there's a row, it is added, but it can be hidden. And there's also an order which needs to set up the order, right? Because we can reorder links inside of our collection. And this is a junction table that basically has a composite primary key of the collection and the link primary keys. Right here, both are fingerprints, but this is the primary key for this junction table, and we need to keep these two properties. That's why we need a junction table. But how would you call it? How would you call it? Right now I have collection links. That is stupid. And you can see that it trips me up. Me, the person who wrote this code like a month ago, I keep tripping on it. I need a better name, but I have no idea how to name it. Please, if you have any suggestions, let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this later, because I need a good suggestion for this naming here. Oh yeah. So let's see, collection links. This is going to be an array. An array. Yeah. Hey Marcel. An array that keeps all this. So when we go all the way down, we can see links should exist by now. It's an array. What? Hold on, let me save this. Let me do this is an array. It's not an array of an array. How it is an array of an array? What are you talking about? LSP restarts. Let's restart the language server. No way. How is this a double? I don't get it. Yo, Sammy actually made this. This is really cool. We're gonna try this. Thank you, Sammy. Let's see. First, why is this? Oh, god damn it! This is already an array. I don't like that. I'm not sure if I like... See, we tripped up. So I'm not sure if I like this, but then it has to be an array just if you want to parse it. Yeah. Okay. My eyes should be more open, but there we go. We fixed the TypeScript issue now. Okay. Collection. I guess we're safe to use like a force unwrap operator. I'm not sure if that's how it's called in TypeScript. It's called in that's how it's called in Swift. When you have an optional value, but you want to force unwrap it, meaning it has to be, there must be a value, otherwise crash. I'm not sure if that's force unwrapping. Yeah, in Swift, that's how it's called. I'm not sure if that's the same in TypeScript, but yeah, I'm gonna call it a force unwrap operator here. Yeah, because there's no other way. Like if it's a link, this is not gonna happen. If it's an error, this is not. Oh, I see it here. Not found, but we need like a 500, and I just need to throw. And now, collection is going to. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, TypeScript is smart. We don't need to force unwrap it. This was the case. Yeah, if this catches, and it's not a not found error, it's like an operational error. And also made a mistake, right? You didn't know. Did you notice that? We don't need to send this to Sentry. Here. Inside of the application layer. And dependent Sentry. We're going to do that in the web layer. So I'm just going to throw it. And if I'm just throwing... Oh, yeah. I'm just going to throw it. Actually, I'm going to throw an operation. Yeah, if we do a get link, and if it's an operation, throw it. Let's see, links, repository, yeah. These throw specific, yeah. These use the map Postgres error to domain error. So we can just, yeah, can just throw this here. And we need this here so we don't, unreachable code. What do you mean unreachable code? How is this an unreachable code? If it's a link, it's going to return the link. If it catches an error, it's going to throw it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why we have the operation error. Well, we need the double negation in this case. If it's not an operation error, but if it's not a not found, that's why when we need to throw it. Otherwise, we just need to proceed. There we go. And again, we're not injecting, we're not doing Sentry inside. Sentry is going to live here in the web UI. We're not going to put Sentry here because this is not being used by anything other than the web UI. So every error that happens here, it's going to end up in the web UI. That's where we want to, you know, that's where we use Next. That's where we're going to use Sentry. Unless, I mean, that should not be the case, actually. If we're implementing tracing, that means we want to trace our use cases. So that means Sentry is going to live here as well. Yeah. Okay. I'm still going to report the errors here in the web UI where they, you know, where they happen. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just throw them here. Look at that. Clean up. Throw them here and just report them in here in the page, in the web or UI layer. So there's this, right? There's this, there's this. And now here, we need the links. And the links need to be in this order. See? And I believe I already have that functionality. Let me see if I refactored it. Use cases, collection, link use cases, set visibility, add link to collection, update links order, get links for collection. There we go. Get links for collection. So this is what does that. And we just need to, this is going to crash here because there are two different ways. If you're logged in, the hidden links are going to be returned as well. And if the collection is yours, if it's not, or you're not logged, or if the collection is not yours, whether you're logged in or not, it's going to return only the visible ones. That's why we need the user in this case. So here's the fingerprint here. Where do we use this? Do we use this only in one? Yeah, we don't use it anywhere. That means I can actually grab the full collection and not just the fingerprint. So I can avoid another, you know, another database call. And this is not being used anywhere. So yeah, let's actually do that. Let's actually be smart about this. Bring in the collection model from the entities. We already do this, and of course we don't even need this. Collection dot fingerprint. Come on, lowercase yourself. No, did I? What was that? Okay. Where are we now? Oh, this was the new one. We need to be here. Collection dot fingerprint. I wanted to do this. What is that? Impossible. Right? Damn it, this is the set visibility. But it doesn't matter. Why was that? Control tilde. Oh, I see. I forgot the. So Control Z. Control Z is what I actually triggered, not Control tilde. Okay. Sorry about that. Let me just like find my way again. There we are. Control and then second layer of the keyboard and then tilde. Bam. Nothing happens. Was it tilde here? Okay. I might have forgotten how to do that in Vim, but yeah. Hold on a second. It was just tilde without the control. There we go. It was just tilde. You see? Control and tilde, the home symbol. Just that, not control. Converts the case. See? That's what I was trying to do, but without the control. Okay, we're clear. Okay, this is the case. If you remember, we ran this in incognito and I closed it. I'll show it to you again. This user throws if we're not logged in. We don't want to do that, you know. We don't want to do that. Actually, this throws get links for collection, I think, or something like that. We need better error handling here. By default, should filter is visible, and if this throws, we don't want to do anything. You know, just like catch it, but proceed. Most likely get user throws because we're not logged in, but in that case, we want to proceed and set, you know, keep this as filtered, keep the filter to true. Then we try to get the links, and this is where things probably throw as well. Yeah. I'm gonna let these links. And let's just say get links for collection returns a promise of that. Yeah. Collection links type. There it is. Oh, it's just links. Okay, we'll see. This is links. Delete back links. There we go. These are the links. And now we have the displayed links here, which we don't need. And I'm just going to rename this to... Actually, no. We'll keep this as an empty array. If this passes, cool. If something happens, we'll figure it out. If not, get those links. If this is true, then filter out all of the invisible links, because we don't want to show them, and return them. That's the whole functionality. But what if this says not found? What, or an operation error? Because this is the repository, right? This used to be, this is the get user, the application, the authentication service. And if that throws, it's going to be like an authentication error or something like that. That just tells us that we're not logged in. we don't care in that case. Just like keep this, don't change this, keep it as true, proceed. But in this case, it can be an operation error or something like that, or issues, with the database. In this case, I think, because we want to proceed, but then should we? We just want to proceed in this case. In this case, though, what do we want to do in this case? Get links for collection. Let's go type it in. Collection link repository. Collection link repository. Get links for collection. Yeah, we're gonna map the Postgres error to a domain error. So it's gonna be either a not found, which we don't care in this case. It's gonna be an empty array, right? Initially. If there are no links, the array is empty. But if it's an operation error, that's when we need to look into it. So yeah, if the error is an instance of operation error, that's when we want to send this to Sentry. Even though we are in the use case, we still want to do this here and just like throw it and bring in the operation error. Actually, no. I'm going to bring in, because yeah, I don't want to be specific to the operation error. I want to do the inversion now. And we probably need a utility. You see, we're repeating ourselves. We probably need a utility that takes in a Postgres error and it tells us if it's not found. If it's something else than not found. If it's not found. We need a utility for that. We're gonna create one. There we go. If it's not found, then it's something serious. Send it to Sentry and just like throw it, crash this, because something else happens. If it's a not found, we don't care. This is empty. Anyways, it's an empty array. No links? Sure, just proceed and just return an empty array instead. But if it's not a not found, if it's not, there are no links, but if it's like something else, we don't know what it is, send it to Sentry, throw it up, so that we can display something bad and red on the screen. Joe Easy, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Yeah, okay. Whew, I think this is looking good, right? Get links for collection. We can go back to the fingerprint page now and use it. Collection link. We're going to keep this one, but we don't need this one. We don't need this one. And we don't need this one. Most likely. Get the links. There we go. So displayed links are going to be await. Where is it now? Oh, we need to instantiate this. Yeah. We're going to do it here. Collection link use cases. Collection link use cases. And now we're going to wait that collection link use cases dot get links for collection. And there's your collection. It's the whole collection, not like just the fingerprint. So we don't, we already have it here obtained. This one pulls it from the repository. We don't need another database query for that. Okay, there we go. Displayed links, whatever is returned from here. If it's a not found, then we just, and there we go. Well, this is going to throw a not found as well, if there are no links. You see that? We should be doing this outside, because this can be not found, and that means that nothing exists. No link, no collection, nothing exists. We do want to show a not found, because I'm not sure what you want to say. But if we have a collection It's not found. It's that the collection is empty. So we need to get these out. Like this. Actually, collection is gonna be another try catch. Is this bad? Try catch, try catch, try catch, try catch, you know? I mean, we can see that we do need them. All right, double negation. Or just like a negation. If the error is not an instance of not found error, that's when we want to panic. Send it to Sentry because it's something unexpected and throw it. Does Next.js have like a thingy? Yeah, if not, here's the collection. Give me the links. If it's not found, you know, if it's not found, display links is going to be by default. Where is it? There we go. Display links is going to be an empty array. And I'm going to put it here next to this try catch block because that's where it gets initialized. And then just render it out. Okay, this looks correct, right? Hey, Elise, how's it going? Thanks for joining. All right, y'all, let's check this out. Actually, what's happening? No errors. Okay, go to dashboard. These are the collections. If we go into Hello Stream, we do have. Let's just enable this one. We're talking about the collection page, right? So I'm going to open a collection. Here's a collection. We have the YouTube channel, and it's visible. If I open this in incognito, it's still visible. Good. Now I'm going to hide it. And I'm going to visit it again logged in. Digital Alchemist, hello. I've been enjoying these streams. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. We see YouTube again because we are logged in. But if I open this in incognito, we don't see this, right? I do need to check if I'm logged in with a different account. Okay, so let's go to localhost 3000. I'm logged in with a GitHub in the main window, but I'm going to try. I'm gonna try the. Let me see. I got like a username password user as well, just so I can do this. Sweet Jesus. Copy the password. There we go. Thank you. And verify that I'm human. Sign in. There's an error. We need to see sign in with password. Oh yeah. I need to retest these. But now we are logged in with a different kind of user, and the user that has no collections or links. And if I refresh this one, this is an existing collection, and I'm an existing user, but it doesn't belong to me. What are we going to see? We're going to see exactly what we want to see. Even though I'm logged in, I'm still not seeing the YouTube channel because it's not my collection, right? It's not this user's collection. Okay, good. This is the test that I wanted to do. And I can see it here because this is my collection. The user that I'm logged in right now does own this one. And even though it's invisible, I can still see it. It's mine. But let's go and do the other thing. We have a fingerprint for a link. If I open this localhost 3000/, I'm going to open it here. And this is my link. So I tried to do it through the main window, which is, you know, my link as well. Let's try that in incognito without any logged in users. So localhost 3000, paste a fingerprint that belongs to a link. It 404s. This is what we want to debug now. Okay, let's see what is the issue. I'm going to put a breakpoint here, and then we'll step in here. Yeah, this is where the error most likely happens, because this is where we return a not found. But why? Why is that here? We don't want to. Yeah, we don't want to do that here. Wait, this means that nothing exists. Oh, but check this out. Okay. Execute. There's execute, right? If it's not a not found, throw it. Yeah, I need a breakpoint here as well. Okay, let's run this. Debug full stack. Run it with dev. Pop the hood. Let's see what's going on. See some chat messages quickly. Lots of happening with Toronto.js. Also starting my own YouTube channel. Really, that is really cool. Please send me your first video. I want to see it. Yeah. I've never worked with these tools, but I think I should implement a lot of this stuff in my SaaS project. Definitely. Yeah. If you're working on a serious application, you should pay attention to, how you structure your code, etc. This can be a SaaS of my own as well. I still haven't decided what I want to do with Bife, the app, but I already developed the proof of concept and pretty much the MVP as well. Like, you can create links, you can share links. There are some bugs, of course. We're fixing them now. But yeah, before I proceed, I wanted to do this in case I want this to be a serious project with actual users, and where I can guarantee like an SLA, a service level agreement. You cannot, I'm going to keep good care of your links, and you're not gonna, make a mistake. Yeah. So that's why I started to do this refactoring. Theme making accessibility accessible. I love that, and it's exactly what I expect from you, to be honest. Hey, Velinov, how's it going? Does Sentry have a free tier still? Yeah, Sentry does have a free tier. It's really generous. You should check it out. Okay, let's see. We added breakpoints. We are in debugging mode, as you can see here. So I'm going to go back to this screen in incognito and hit refresh and see what's going on. There we go. So we are in the public collection page. Okay, I'm going to continue up until this point. And this is the first use case that we're going to trigger, the get link or collection use case. I'm going to step inside. I have 2 breakpoints that's going to catch the execution in both cases. I'm going to step inside. There we go. So we're going to try to get the link from the repository, but I need a breakpoint here and here. If it catches, I want to see it. If not, I want to catch it here. Okay. I'm going to continue. There we go. So it threw. And what is the error? Not found error. You see that? Yeah. So this should not throw the error. There we go. It didn't throw the error. Oh, hold on a second now. This was a link. This was not a collection. Why did the links repository return through a not found? Hold on. There's the issue. It's not a collection. It's a link. We literally opened a link, right? It's the YouTube channel link. But links repository. I believe we're using this one. Yeah. Okay. I am going to continue with the execution. Of course, yeah, there we go. Try to get a... Oh, but there is, yeah. Is it a not found? It is a not found because also a collection wasn't found because this was a link. So it's going to return this. I'm going to refresh again. Okay, I'm going to hide this debugging UI. Continue, step inside. Yep, and until this, get to here and also create a debug here. Step inside. There we go. So fingerprint is, as you can see, is this IX9W5OQA. IX9W5OQA. And if we go to Supabase, oh, look at this. Oh my God, I know what it is. Here's the link, IX9W5OQA. But you know what it is? It's actually public can read only visible. But this is, I think this is okay. This is a row level security policy for the Postgres table for the link. And what this basically does is for the select operation, let me show you. I think these are really cool and I need to, I feel like I want to create some content on them. Can't I zoom in on anything? I can't. Okay. There's a policy. Public can read only visible. It's set on the select command and it takes in the authentication as well. So if the visible is true, right? That's when you, and this is to public. This means that you're not authenticated. You're going to be let, the query will return. The select will contain that link as well. Otherwise, it won't. And because we're looking for a link, let me see. Because we're looking for a link. Hold on a second. What am I talking about? This is just a link. It has nothing to do with a collection. And a link can be in multiple collections. So I don't even need this policy here. Anyone can read links. So I'm just going to delete this. Is that what it is? Okay. That makes sense. I never, like, I still haven't understood, like, row level security policies in Postgres, to be honest. But that looks like the case to me. So I think I can just step through everything now. And if I try again, we're going to hit the jackpot. Let's see. Try to get the collection. Step inside, step inside. Try to get the link now. We should receive the link. There we go. Try the link. Error. 0 rows. How is that possible? How is that possible? Do I need to restart the database as well? Because apparently it is it's the 116 error. It is the not found. Contains 0 rows. Yeah, I'm going to stop the app. And I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do first npx supabase db resets. I want a clean slate. And this is also, hold on a second. No. Instead of a db reset, I want to do npm supabase migrate, and I'm going to call this deleting link public RLS. npm run. Yeah, and I'm gonna double check that this does exactly that. It only contains the delete link public RLS. I'm not sure if I changed anything else in the meantime, but let's see. I need to get back to the row level security policies. Okay, we have the new migration here. Before we do anything else, let's just make sure that it only does that. Oh, okay. Okay, let's see. There's some real-time stuff. I don't know if I configured that because I don't use real-time in my app. But there's the drop policy, authenticated can delete. Oh yeah, I actually dropped a bunch of policies in the last stream, maybe. And we're revoking some of them. Wow, this is wild. Wait. Let me see Supabase again. You see that? No, this is no. I messed up. So I clicked. I invoked Supabase DB reset first, and that actually wiped the whole database. And then I did the migration, thinking that this didn't happen, but this basically drops the whole table, the whole database. I don't need this now. I'm just gonna delete this. Let's see, Supabase. Yeah, we're gonna sidetrack a little bit just so I can see how I can properly delete the migration, because it also gets written in a database. Oh, not this one. Supabase CLI. There we go. It's like new list fetch repair. MPX. Oh, we're in. Damn it. Okay. Clear. MPX Supabase migration lists. These two haven't been applied to the production Supabase, but the last one is from today. See, the one before is from 10 days ago. So this one is from today. We want to delete this. What is repair? It's not it. Migration up. Apply pending migration to local database. Fetch list new repair squash. It's going to squash everything into a one migration, but there's no delete. You see that? I think I need to delete the file and then do a repair. Yeah. What if I just delete the file and rerun this? So I'm just going to delete this. Yeah, just go. Sure, delete it. No more migration file. And let me just list them again to see if... Yeah, actually, there we go. There's no migration now. Okay, cool. I'm going to do npx supabase db reset again, because it's wiped. I need all of those migration files to be applied to my local database. When I do that, I need to delete the RLS policy again. There we go. I need to delete the policy again. Here's the collection. Here's link. Let's go to authentication policies. There we are. And yeah, I need to just go through these again and make sure that everything's set up correctly, because it's not. Public can read only visible. Link doesn't have a notion of visible. Collection link does. So I'm gonna delete this one. You don't see it, but I'm pressing the delete button here. There we go. That's the only thing that I want to do right now. And I want to create a new migration out of this. Delete link public row level security. And it should only have that drop statement inside. Not the whole... Maybe there's going to be like something more to it, but basically it should only be dropping this RLS. Okay, let's make sure that it's the case. Yeah, this is what we wanted. Just a single drop policy on that table. That's it. Okay, that looks good. Now I need to... I'm gonna npm run dev again. And do we have incognito? No. I'm gonna do a sign out first, because there are no users now as well. There we go. User not found. We'll see this. Sign in again, and I'm gonna sign in with GitHub. I'm gonna create a collection. Hello stream. This is looking all right. Hit enter. There we go. T, update. Collection updated. Refresh. It really is updated. Okay, so that works as well. And I'm gonna create a new link now, but through this screen, so that when I create it, it's also going to assign it to this collection. youtube.com/Nicole Lazar YouTube channel. I need like a little spinner thingy here. You see, I'm hitting enter, but nothing happens. In this case, it actually nothing happens, but let's hit submit with the mouse. There we go. So it's here, right? View the collection page. I can see it. Open this in incognito. Can see it, but it is public, right? Man, this is so buggy. I don't know why it's... Yeah, you see? Logic non-existent. So let's fix this. And this is collection, by the way, so this might be a different role level security. Is this the case? Role, service role can read it all. No, we don't even use a service role. Public can only read published. True, if it's not published, then we don't want it to be read. But links? Public can read only visible. Visible equals true on this table. Well, it is true, right? We go to table editor. Visible is set to true. The collection is published. There we go. It is published. And this link exists. So, how? How is that the case? Okay. Debug. There you go. Let's see what's going on. This is way too buggy. We'll go to the page and start debugging from there. Open this in the collection in incognito and wait for it. There we go. This is gonna get the instance. Yeah, get into here. This is going to throw because it's not a link, it's a collection. Error is gonna be 116. Correct. Move on. It's not a not found. It is a not found. Yeah, so but we don't want to do anything. Let's try the collection. Breakpoint here, breakpoint here. So I'm gonna try to get the collection in this case. There we go. Collection, does it exist? It does exist. This is looking all right. Hello stream. So we're going to return the collection. A link is going to be undefined. We're going to assign collection to C, and this is where it gets interesting. You see that? Display links. So I want to step in here and I want to step in here, but also the get links for collection. This is where that happens. We get the user. Should we filter invisible links? Try to get the user. It's going to crash. But I still want to end up here and keep this to true. You see? Catch it and do nothing with it. There we go. Should filter invisible links is set to true. Okay. Then give me the links, right? Put a breakpoint here, put a breakpoint here. Get links for collection in the collection link repository. Let's get in. Collection link repository. Get links for collection. There we are. We are receiving only the collection fingerprint. And we want to take the visible, the order, and the and just populate the link table. I want to get to this point, so what are we seeing this? Fetch failed. See, this is an operation error. What is that? Fetch failed. What is that? Fetch failed, but that's the... Okay, let's see. Fetch failed. Failed to fetch. Provide more. Narrow it down. There's like a log thingy. Look at that. Yeah, this is basically Supabase not being set up properly. I can't even look at the logs. So let's do this. I'm going to create a new window here and do lazy docker. And here are the Docker logs. But which ones should we be looking at? What is that? Supabase admin error. Relation tenants does not exist at character. Is that the error? Select something, yada yada yada. That's the only thing that I can see that the database actually throws. But that looks like a Supabase thing. Supabase admin relation tenants does not exist at character 324. So here is Supabase. Do we have the user? We do have the user. Yeah. These are the migrations. No functions. We don't have any functions. No GraphQL as well. What is it then? Supabase admin relation tenants does not exist. Maybe it's like an update thing. Supabase real time in own database. We don't have any settings regarding tenancy and stuff like that. But this is like in real time. We saw some real time stuff as well, right? Hey, Fuzzy. Database real time. What? So what do I do now? Try to restart it again? Reset the database again, maybe? Yeah? Let's do a reset again. Starting to lose my voice. All this talking. All right. Now it's cleaned up. No data. No users, no anything. Real time, I have no idea what that is. I mean, yeah, I can subscribe to database, so every time something changes, I can get inked, but we're not using that. So we don't care about that. Authentication and policies. Yeah, policies. There's no policies on select, so that should just work. Okay, let's try that again. Sign out, and it's gonna break now because the user does not exist. Well, hold on. There we go. And I'm gonna sign in with GitHub. Okay, so now if we go to authentication and users, we can see my account there. There we go. All right. Create a collection. Please work. Please. Create a link. https youtube.com Nicole Plaza. Okay. So far, so good. Let's see. Let's go to public. There's the collection. Please work. Link. youtube.com. Collection link. Here's the relationship. And it's visible. Okay. Let's see it. There it is. Let's see it in incognito. There it is not. What is going on? What is going on? It should be here, and this basically fails here. Collection link. Are there any more like leftover policies? Collection link. There's like public can read it all, and public can only read visible. Holy moly, this is whoa. Public can read it all. Collection link. No, it cannot. Public can only read the visible. But let's see. I guess I'm doing that. I guess I'm doing that locally, right? This is basically give me all of the links. And it's just gonna, yeah, just gonna filter out the nullish links. But this is being used in only in this place to get the links. And now if I should be filtering these links, then I'm gonna filter those links. Sami, yeah, we can, but I think that's the thing. Public can read only visible. This is the like these two policies. I don't need them. I'm just gonna delete these two policies as well on the collection link because we're doing the filtering manually, and I need a new migration now. Collection link public policies. Okay, we need to drop two policies. Dropping two policies. Now let's see. Come on, stop. I love that I can debug in NeoVim. I hate that I need to spam the dap to, you know, close the active session. All right, let's try it now. Let's try it now. Debug full stack def. I'm not gonna reset the database because I don't feel like I need to. Okay, so collection on select service role can read it all. I can just, you know, delete it, and public can only read published. This is correct. Like if you're not authenticated and if it's not published, then I don't need to write code to, you know, filter this out. This is correct. There's no select on this one because I'm manually filtering things, but it would be a good idea to do that through row level securities because, you know, less bugs, you know. But I hate debugging row level securities. As you can see, it's like it's not really descriptive, right? It was like failed to fetch. Why? Turns out we had a row level security policy on that table, but nothing hinted us in that direction. I had to, dig memories out of my brain, and there's no select on links. But yeah, if we can make this work, this will be great. So that we don't have code, so that we don't need to test code, so that we'll cover that with like integration tests, but not unit tests. If we have business logic, we need to cover that with unit tests to make sure that it's always going to return public or visible or whatever. But if it's like a row level security on the database itself, that's safer, that's more secure. But go figure it out. All right, we're running now. Refresh here. Let's see. I'm gonna continue. Just like jump through all of these. We should get the collection, right? There it is. The collection exists. There's a collection. Okay, now give me the links as well. Oh, there we go. Give me the links. There we go. Here, there's no error. Yeah, the error is null. Continue, continue, continue. Eliram, thanks for the sub. Why are we? Wait, are we still in? Oh yeah, we're still in. Okay, let's see. Are we doing this from the beginning? These are way too much breakpoints. You see? We should see a link here. I mean, it's visible. No, it's not. What happened? Okay. Add it back up. Lord. Where are we coming from? This is collections links. This is add a link to collection. Actually, yeah. Action, links, actions. Right? Or collections? No. Collection actions. Add a link to collection. See that? It's here. So what are we trying to do? Add link to collection link use cases. We're doing get collection, then we're doing get link, and then we do the relation here, right? No error because the link exists. There we go, YouTube channel. There's the, where are we now? Collection link use cases.ts. Okay, here's the link. We got the link, and we need to go into the collection link repository. Oh, but there it is. And add the link to collection. But this is probably, maybe throws. Let's see. Collection link repository. Update links order. Remove link from collection. Add link to collection. There we go. Do we have an error here? Yeah, fetch failed. No. Why is this happening? Is this row level security again? I swear I'm just gonna delete the whole thing. I'm just gonna disable. I'm keeping them, but I'm disabling them. Like, this is not happening. The code is very easy to read. Yeah, I'm glad that you find it easy to read. That's the whole point. npm run def again. Oh man, these RLSs are kicking my butt. Let's try that again. Here we go. You see that? So it is a row level security. Let's just do a refresh here. There's this. I'm gonna make this invisible. There we go. But if I open this in incognito, I should not see it. There we go. Okay. Row level security. I need to be smarter with that. If I open this in this window, not in incognito, in this window, I should see my YouTube channel. Correct. If I open the same in incognito, I should still see my YouTube channel. Thank you. So row level security messes up my application. I haven't set up these properly. Your table is publicly readable and writable. I know. But again, let's see. I guess we can enable this for the collection. And we should enable this for the link as well. Update, select, authenticated can read only there. Oh, there we go. There's one select that we should not have this. I'm just going to delete this select. What about here? Insert, update, and delete. Can only link their own collections and links. Okay, so what this does is it selects the user ID, and then it's, the currently logged in user. And then it has to be authenticated. Give me the user ID and compare it to the created by based on the collection, where the collection PK, that the collection PK primary key refers to in the collection table. It's a bit not, easy to read, but that's basically what this is. Yeah. Give me the collection that matches the collection PK from this table. Then give me the created by field and compare it to the currently logged in user. Is that the same? Cool, it's mine, right? And where's the end? And do the same for the links. Give me the link public primary key. Find the link from the actual link from the link table that matches this primary key. Get the created by and compare it against the currently logged in user's ID. Is that the case as well? Yeah, both the collection and link are mine, and that means this operation will be permitted. And this was an insert. That means I can add the link that belongs to me to the collection that belongs to me. I can't add my links to someone else's collection. That is a big no-no, right? I can't add, or someone else adding links to my collection. This looks good, and basically the others are that as well. It's like copy paste the whole block. So I'm gonna enable this now as well. We did remove one though. We did remove one from the link. I believe that was the case. Let's try that. Let's try that, but it doesn't actually matter because service role can read it all. I'm gonna delete this one. Man. Service public can only read published. We don't care about this. Oh, authenticated can read only their own. Yeah, goodbye. I think this should be a goodbye. This is basically authenticated can read only their own if it's not published. But it's the user ID, the created by matches whatever's in the, on the user, I should still see it, basically, even though it's not published. So that's what this does. Links, there are no reads on the links, there are no reads on the collection link. There's only for the collection. So how come we don't see this link then? It's not published, but it's mine. Right? There's no row level security on it right now. If I publish it, will I see it? Oh, multiple or no rows returned. Yeah. This is a mess, if you ask me. This is a mess. I'm going to do another migration. Deleting public row level security policies because we don't care about select. And it's not always like the case, except in this case. But yeah, it's descriptive enough. And we should drop, I think, 2. Was it 2? Yeah, 2 policies. Service role and also authenticated can read only their own. Now I want to run Supabase DB reset. This is a questionable developer experience. Okay. Reset. We're keeping these. If I have row level securities or security RLS policies on enabled but do not have a select, I guess that's going to, right? I guess we do need that link though. Let's try it again. Right now I need to oh my god. I need to log out. Oh, it's not started. I'm gonna start it here. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna log out, re-log in, recreate like a collection and a link, and then we're gonna see what happens. Work, please. So also add a link. I need it to be valid, so you know we can test the redirection properly. New row violates row level security policy for table link. I guess we do need proper row level security policies. So insert, authenticated can insert only as their own, and we do, right? Created by is by us. Well, how does this? Oh, but there's also a. Check this out. Check this out. This tripped me hard when I did it. So I'm gonna go to the. I'm gonna go to the links use cases. Okay. Create link. Right. Create link, and it returns it. Right. Links repository. Create link. Right. Create it. Right. That's insert. And then there's select and single, and that's select. And there's no row level security for select. That means I should not have done the last two, the last three migrations. Is that correct? Because if we delete them, if we delete the selects, no one is going to be able to select. I need to delete these. Oh my god, I need to fix this. Okay, npx supabase db resets. Without those migrations, just want to reset the database with the current set of migrations that we have. And I feel like I need to fix this because, as you can see, it prevents us from, you know, properly testing the app. There we go. Select. Public can read only visible. Public can only read published. That's correct. And public can only read visible. And this is a very complex one because it does. Oh wait, is it a complex one? CL visible. Oh yeah, it is. CL visible from collection.link, where the link fingerprint is. Oh yeah. Oh, this is what we don't want actually. Collection link where the link pk. No, this is not what we want. This is wrong. I need to delete this basically, and I need to do, where is it? I need to create a new policy. It's gonna be on select. Public can read it all. Okay, and I'm just gonna say true. If links exist in the database, anybody can access them. Whether they show up in a collection or not, that's a different story. But there's no authentication stuff for reading inside of the links table. So I'm just going to save this. Public can read it all. Authenticated can read only their own. Again, we don't want this, right? I'm not sure if it's causing any issues, but I'm gonna keep it until it's, starts to cause issues. Now we're going to be able to read the links. For the collection link, for the relationship, yeah, public can only read the visible ones. And this is the complex query. Yeah, it's not the complex query, because we're already in the table. If visible is true and I'm not logged in, fine. If I'm not logged in and the visible is false, you should not read that. And there's a public can read it all here, which needs to be deleted, because public can only read the visible links. And these are like only the relationship, single relationship definitions. And in here, service role can read it all authenticated. And this is not the service role, this is just authenticated. And this is not the name for it. Authenticated can read. Well, really? Sami asked, if we don't have a row level security policy for select, wouldn't it default to allowing select for any user? No, it defaults not allowing to anything. So if you have RLS enabled, by default, nothing is allowed. And you explicitly need to allow things. It's the other way. That's why it's secure. That's why I like it. Because you need to be explicit about it, but it is confusing. It can get confusing. So what about here? Let me just see the other ones. Collections, right? Public can only read the published. So if I'm not logged in, if it's published, I can see it. But authenticated, I need a special case for this because I'm logged in with a different user and I try to access a collection from a page. I can do that if it's mine or if it's published. So we need an or here, you see? Or if the published is set to true. If this is published, anyone can see it, even authenticated users. But if it's not, then this better be the case. And I'm going to say published here or this. If it's not published, then it better be mine. If it's not mine, then nobody's going to see it. Or you're not going to see it, but I'm going to see it. Save this. Okay, now we fix this. Authenticated can read not only their own, but their own as well. Authenticate can read their own unpublished as well. Yeah, see, this is it's not that, right? It's not that authenticated can read their own unpublished as well, but it's also the authenticated can read every published. Unless, so I don't know how to explain this. There it is. So we have two selects. The service role can read it all. This needs to go away. Because there are two cases. One, you're not logged in. And you're going to see it only if published is set to true. The other one, you're logged in. And this branches out again. If you're logged in and it's published, you can still see it. But if you're logged in and it's not published, but it's yours, you can still see it. There we go. This one, public can read only visible. Yeah. And we can say that, these are the links that show up on the page, collection link. So this is where we might also want to create another select that is very similar to this one. Authenticated can read their own unpublished or invisible as well. So let's see how that looked like. Yeah, I'm going to copy this block here. I'm going to create one on the collection link. So authenticated can also read their invisible as well. Okay, let's try that. So, and this is going to be on the authenticated role. That means all of the logged in users. We'll do if the visible is set to true, anyone can see it, whether you're unauthenticated or authenticated. But if it's set to false, right, or it better be mine. Why though? Why? So there's yellow. There's one. Okay, this should be true. Why? There are no error details. Yeah, please, Superbase, do good. Why? You say details, but there are no details as well. Okay, let's start that again. I don't know why it's failing to do that. Visible is set to true, or if it's authenticated, visible is it's authenticated. Hold on. Oh, okay. Created by. Created by. There's no created by on this table, right? That's the error, right? Yeah, you see, Lincoln collection. We need to basically base this off of these. So we need that joint. Damn it. Okay, here we are. Authenticated can only link their own collections and services. I feel like we need to copy this whole block, and and there's the end. So this is for the collection, and this is for the link. I feel like for reads, I'm just gonna use the link. I'm not gonna use collection, because if the insert policy allows you to insert it, then for reading, of course, it's yours, right? Probably might be making a mistake, but we can only know when, if it's true, when the mistake happens. So let's try that again. If the visible is true, you can read it even though you're logged in. Logged in, please. There we go. If you're logged in and it's visible, we don't care if it's yours or not. But if that's not the case, then the created by for that link must be you. Yeah. This is that policy that we need. Whew. I should chat GPT these, by the way. I should just chat GPT the whole thing. Let's see. Authenticated can read only visible and their own as well. And it's not and, but their own as well. Okay, maybe this is a better, more descriptive way. Authenticated, because it's authenticated, right? Where's the select? Yeah. They can read only the visible ones if they are, but they can also read their own, regardless if they're visible or not. That's the case. And public can, if it's visible, sure, go for it. All right, so this is the case where we need to. This is the case. This is the moment. Are we running this? We are running this. We're not logged in. Let's log back in. No collection. Hey. I'm just gonna fly through this. Creating a link. Okay, so now we're inserting it. We're inserting a link. And there's a selection, right? Insert is okay because we can insert it only as their own. And this is basically if the user ID matches the created by. That's fine. But then there's a selection happening, right? Authenticated can read only their own. Is this the case for links? Maybe it's not. Public can read it all, right? But then also, authenticated should also read. Should be just true. We're talking about links. We're not talking about relationships or links belonging to... everybody should be able to read. Whether they're authenticated or not, they should be able to read links. And we need to update this one as well. Authenticated can read it all. Public can read it all. For links. For collections, public can only read published, but authenticated can read their own unpublished as well. So it's either published or it's yours. Okay, these make sense, right? So that means I can go here and I can easily create a link that belongs to this collection, right? Let's try the YouTube link again. Hit submit. There we go. Okay, fine. I'm gonna close these tabs. Let's check it out now. We can see the collection and we can see our own link. Plus, this is visible. Let's say it in incognito. Visible is set to true, which means we need to see it. We do see it. Okay. Step number 2. Make it invisible. It's mine. It's invisible, but the created by matches the current logged in user in this window. We still see it. Okay, that's good as well. Let's push this in an incognito window. We should not see it because for public, if the visible is not set true, we're not going to be able to see it. We don't see it. Cool. I'm going to log in now. I'm going to log in to that username password account because I'm going to be authenticated. And I'm going to try to access a relationship object that's not visible, but I am authenticated, but the link does not belong to me. I need to, of course, sign up now with this. Should I really? I don't think I have that email. Okay, we're in. So I am logged in now. I'm going to go back and try to visit this page with an authenticated user. I don't see it. Correct. So far so good. Okay. All right. Collections look good. And the links that are inside. Let's also test links directly. So regardless of if this is visible or not, we don't care about it in this case. This should take me to my YouTube channel. And this was always true. There we go. This should also take me to my YouTube channel. Okay. Also, localhost 3000. Let's log back in with that user. So I am signed in. So I am authenticated. There we go. See that it's no big deal. Now let's also try, as an authenticated user, navigate to this link, which is not mine, but we should still see my YouTube channel. Thank you. Okay, finally. I'm gonna say finally. And I need to create new migrations now. Woo! Fixing RLS policies for selects. That was complicated. But we did it. Okay, the app works as expected, and the row level securities are doing their thing, and yeah. And so far, until we find a use case that it's not actually good. But we don't need to debug this now because we kind of did, right? Okay, there we go. I removed the breakpoints. This is the public fingerprint page. Sami, if you're still here, we're gonna circle back and do the getInjection, simplify the getInjection method, because I really want that to be as simple as possible, so I don't type all these things. But what I was gonna say, oh yeah, this is the public fingerprint page, right? It's a page. It's not a server component. It's a server component. It's not a server action. And we have some logic here. This is logic based for, should we redirect or not, and it worked always, whether we're authenticated or not, whether it's our link or not. If the link exists, we're going there. If it doesn't, if nothing of that exists, neither a link or a collection, we just render not found, the 404 page that we saw previously. And then if everything's fine, that means we have a collection, and that means we have links to grab. So then we get the collection link use case, we grab the links, and then we render the links. I feel like this is okay. There is one concept in clean architecture that's called like presenters. Clean coder blog. This type, presenters. You see that? Presenter, I feel like presenters would fit that. If this logic was too long for a page, then I feel like this would be a presenter. I don't know. I still don't understand presenters fully, or gateways. Controllers, yeah, but controllers are for like MVC type of apps. Next.js is not that kind of an app, so that means we don't have controllers if we don't have presenters as well, because the use cases cover all of the functionality, and we don't have gateways. That means the whole layer is not needed in this case. And if you notice this, then yeah, it's not here. 1, 2, 3 layers instead of 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. So we're missing this, controllers and presenters. But I feel like in Next.js, clean architecture in Next.js, we don't need this layer as well. But I might be wrong. Let me know what you think. That's why we don't have the green layer. We have the blue, red, and yellow layers. Blue, yeah, red, and yellow. Nothing else. Yeah. Also, oh, yeah, I forgot to show you this. We already, like, we should already understand this, but I also tried to, create a flow diagram of the create link functionality. That, let me hide my face. That shows you how the operation flow goes from the web, then it goes into the application, then it goes into the domain. See, it like validates. The validation, we automatically have this just because we're using Zod. That's the validation, right? New link with input, pretty much, and then we pass that link to the repository, right? And it returns the result. Then we also add, optionally, a link to the collection. But as you can see, this is how the operation flows throughout the layers or throughout the rings. Yeah, that's all. I just thought I would put this in this type of, a visual so that we can understand how the operation flow will go from layer to layer. But yeah, that's with this change, we are, even though we don't have this layer, we are 100% certified clean architecture in Next.js because we tick all the boxes now. And our application works. Sami, let's check out the type that you sent us. There it is. I'll grab this whole thing, copy it, and bring it back here. Okay, so getInjection. It's gonna be a function. There's gonna be a type K that extends a key of DI types, which we already have here. Oh, hold on. DI types need to be a key now, right? A key of type of. And it's going to return a type of the, but this would return let's see, .get DI types. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this. This was the original implementation. A key of DI types. It cannot extend that because it's a string, but it must be of that type. So I'm just gonna remove that and just do. Oh yeah, you're using the K type over there as well. We can do that here. And we can't use it here because it refers to a value, but we need a type here. So I can do type of. Right? So K is going to be these. It's either going to be a collection service or a collection repository, or these values. So far so good, right? And that's what the symbol is going to be. It's going to be a string literal. But it's going to return us. It's going to return us. It needs to return us something else. So DI types of K is going to return us a symbol. Because if we say DI types of authentication service, it's going to return the symbol. But that's not going to give us a type, right? We need a different map that will return us the correct type. And that type is different. If it's a service, it's going to be an interface. If it's a repository, it's going to be an interface. If it's a use case, it's going to be itself, right? So we need a different type of map that is literally the same as this, but it returns the interfaces here or the actual implementations here. That's what we need to do. So I'm just gonna let's just hack this. DI types, those are the DI types, and these are going to be the return types, okay? So authentication service, going to be authentication service. And let's bring it in. Well, don't act like it's not here because it is here. We go to the authentication module, you are actually going to see that it is here. So go to the types and bring it in as a type. Oh, but look at that now. Let me do an LSP restart. Let's see what's up. If that's still the case. Yeah. It refers to a type, but it's being used as a value. LSP issues again. Okay, so we had this with the gist that we created, the old service locator pattern. It was an interface, service map, repository map, and when we say key of that, the key is a key of the service map, and it returns a service map of that key. So we need, let's see, if this is an interface, right? Authentication service is authentication service. So we can actually bring this. There we go. We can actually bring this now. Collections repository is going to be collections repository. There we go. I should just add I for these. And I'm going to bring it in. Delete until capital L. Add the I. Oops. Remove these. Bring this in. Bring this in. And these are going to be like selves. So I'm going to cut these out. Cut. There we go. I just need to bring these out again. Oh, it's use case. Okay, there we go. So that's the DI return types, right? It's an interface, not a constant object. It is an interface that implements this. PK Moral, thanks for the sub. Okay, but the thing is that this key must be a key of the DI types. That must be the case. Mr. True, could you create a gist for the DI stuff when you think you'll have your 1 hour video with the codes? Pretty soon. I know it's like y'all are waiting for it, but yeah, pretty soon. Been following along for 5 episodes now. Great stuff. Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, so here are the return types. The keys match these. That means if we register a new use case, we need to register it here for the symbol so it can be identified, but then also here for the correct type. So that means twice the work. But let's see. This is not going to be of DI types, but it's going to be of DI return types. So we're going to bring in that interface as well. And K is going to be of DI return type. And it's not going to be a type of because it's already an interface. There we go. Return types are here. And return types of K goes here. And then we just do DI. And then we say DI types. And we probably, what do you mean? Can we say this? Because we don't need the type here. If we move the type as a return type here, we don't need the type there. So I can export this, hide that, remove the DI types because we don't need it. Imperium, hey yo, this is going cool. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's great stuff. We've made so much progress. Okay, getInjection is now the new. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna go to the use case. And now we don't need the type, but we need, what do we need? We need a string now, right? And that string is already typed. So if I say, let's see, x equals getInjection, and I'm gonna pass in a string, whatever it is, right? Give me the, so this is like a, Hey Vu, thanks for the sub. So let's get the links use cases, right? What is the type of x links use cases? That means we can do await x dot update link, get public link, create link, delete link, all of these things. But do we wanna? We don't wanna do this. We don't want to. We don't want the keys to be based on the implementation, right? For use cases, sure, but for the return types, these should be like I, you know? Okay, so this is new Vim. See? Sometimes it goes crazy. I don't know what it is. Yeah, it's VTSLS. That means it's the LSP. Start the LSP. Save again. There we go. Yeah, the keys should be what they are. If this is, the value is the interface, then the key is going to be the interface. Okay? Okay, we can't say collections repository and you know, get the mocked collections repository. The actual, you know, value that we get is the interface. So the keys should also match that. Okay, we have a lot of refactoring to do. So it's going to be the same. We are not going to need this. Nope. Visual in Word. Surround with quotes. There we go. NeoVim. What else? A whole bunch of else. Yeah. Delete until the parentheses. Delete this. Visual in Word. Surround with quotes. That's how I use Vim, by the way. Delete until parentheses, delete word, X for the next character, visual in Word, G surround, add quotes. Does it make sense? Or am I crazy? Delete until parentheses. There we go. We messed it up. Delete words. I think we can do GS. No. G surround. Add. Okay. I can do GSA in words. Quotes. Okay, there we go. I don't need to visual before. Nice. Okay. GSA in words, quotes. Yeah, that's fast. That's fast. I don't care about these breakpoints. These are breakpoints, by the way, but they're being shown as like exclamation marks because it's weird. Okay. Here, do we have stuff here? No, we just inject stuff here and we don't use the getInjection. Yeah. And here. Nice. Nice. More errors. How did we miss this? There we go. Okay, so getInjection is now a lot smarter, right? We're still just using use cases here. But yeah, let's go to getInjection again. By the way, I forgot to say shout out to Sami for putting this together. Thank you. Because this is much better, much cleaner as well. So we don't need this one. Save this, go to the references, and now, yeah, there we go. We have actions to refactor. And this is going to be I authentication service. Nice. So I guess we need to change the way that we're doing this with NeoVim. So I'm going to delete this, you know, and then to the authentication service, I'm going to do GS replace and I'm going to do parentheses surrounding, and then I'm going to do this one. Nope. that was wrong. Okay, so GS replace these brackets, replace them with parentheses. There we go. And then we say GSA in Word, comma, there we go. Okay, that's complicated, you know. Let's try that again. Just have fun here. GSR these brackets with parentheses, GSA in Word. Okay. Does it work? It does work. So cut this. GSR, bam, bam, GS in GSA, GSA in Word, bam. The lengths that I'm going to go, so I don't actually type stuff. GSR, these brackets with parentheses, GSA in Word, quotes. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Those are the authentication. We have one more. There it is. Look how much cleanup we did. 3 import statements. Okay, then we have 2 more actions where we use these. Oof, nice. Refactoring with the speed of light. Ugh. Maybe that should be like an interesting video. Refactoring with the speed of light. And then I'm just going to talk about Vim motions. All right. One action file down. Links is the next one. And then we'll see. Oh, hold on. go back to the collections, and we have a bunch of, yeah, import statements to delete. Nice. Do this again. All right. Let's see if this is being used in other files. Auth actions already did that. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit so I can see if this is a string or those, weird. There we go. ZSA procedures. So in this case, I'll do this then and do GSR weird with parentheses, GSA in Word, bam, there we go. Sitya, am I pronouncing the name Sitya? Sitya, thanks for the sub. Appreciate you. All right, let's find more getInjection where it's being used the old way. No more old getInjection usage. npm run build is going to build everything nice and easy for us, with everything working, with types, with all the bells and whistles, just for a simple CRUD application. Vishesh asks, where can I get the source code? There will be a source code really soon. I'm going to create a video where you will code the source code. And there's also going to be a GitHub repo for it. This deserves a really nice commit because it has it all. And the commit message is going to be, it has it all. There we go. Please don't do this. When you work in teams, do not push commits like I do. Can we remove DI types? No. Because they need to be... There's a symbol. Hold on a second. Oh. Did you know? No. No, actually. We have to use symbols. Okay, we are not done. We need the DI types. Okay. I'm gonna do this. Oh my god. Again with the LSP. I hate. We need to align these. So these should have the same, Okay, let me just do this. LSP restart. I don't know what it is. I think it's the VTS LS. These need to be nice. The value has no meaning. It should just be unique. That's it. That's it. We can do this like symbol for 1, symbol for 2. It's still gonna work fine, but it's not gonna be pretty. So we're gonna keep this like this. Basically, these two, the interface and the DI types, are gonna have the same keys. Okay? They're gonna have the same keys, but their values are gonna be different. DI types currently not being used anywhere. I mean, it is being used everywhere. This is going to... I'm gonna rename this to DI symbols. Okay? This is gonna be DI symbols, and these are gonna be DI return types. The keys are gonna be the same. So the symbol in this case must be a symbol, but not a... Yeah, you see that? what we're gonna do. Check this out. We are not done yet. These are gonna be DI symbols. Okay. Like this, actually. We'll see if we broke it, but the type must be a key of the symbols. And that's the symbol. And it's going to return the return type. But symbol is, we're not going to pass it like this. We're going to pass it like DI symbols. And then we're going to pass the symbol like this. But we'll return the return types because we need the interfaces back from the return type, but we need the symbols in. In with the symbol, out with the interface. Let's see if we broke everything. Auth actions? No, it's pretty much everything's the same, right? There we go. We have all the constants here because these are the keys. GetInjection, these are the keys of DI symbols. This means that we have to pass a valid registered symbol. Okay? We need to pass a valid registered symbol, but in return, we are going to get an interface. There we go. This is going to work now. Because when we do load, check this out. Yeah, see that? We need to fix the we need to fix all of our bind modules now. Because we changed the names. Use cases stay the same. Repositories and services have an I prefix to indicate that those symbols are for interfaces. There we go. And what's this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. The inject as well need to change. I should have just renamed these so that these would have been automatically changed for us, but it's a little too late for that. We just need 2 more eyes, pun intended. And 1 little brain. There we go. Okay, so I don't see any issues now. I'm gonna, come on now. I'm gonna try and run a build to see if, you know, at least TypeScript passes. There's no like type issues and stuff. We should also do a lint. I haven't done a lint. Let's see what lint does. No lint warnings or errors. Beautiful. Okay, so it builds everything. Let me just make sure that, you know, the DI container actually registers stuff accordingly. And it's not just TypeScript telling us that everything's fine, but nothing's fine in reality. Okay, we see the collections. We see the links. Let's create a collection. And we're gonna name it hey hey hey. Because we're winning this game. Let's create a new link. Let's add this link and create a new one. I don't know. Nicole Plaza. Let's just do it. Creatures. Oh my god. I hit escape again. Creatures.sh. Discord server, which you should join, by the way. Go to creatures.sh and join if you haven't. Because we're talking about this project in this Discord server. And thank you for subscribing, DHS King. There we go. This Discord server, YouTube channel, it's all in here. We see these two. We open this in incognito. We see these two. We go back. We change the YouTube channel. We see this because we're logged in. We don't see the YouTube channel. We just see the Discord server. So everything is nice and just good. Right? DI container works because it allows us to create and use the use cases and everything. So now, actually, this is all we need. This commit, not the previous one. So yeah, we have simplified. Again, thank you, Sami. We have simplified the getInjection function. It is just a breeze to right now. Give me the injection. Which one do you want? Pick. There you go. You want the ilinks repository? You want the collection links use case? You want the authentication service? Which one do you want? And you pick your poison and you get your injection here, and you also get the type, so you can do whatever you want. Beautiful. TypeScript is happy, we're happy. When TypeScript is not happy, we're miserable. Yeah, I think this is all. I think this is it. Yeah. Can we do a test for a user which views other users' collections or links which are published or visible? We already did that, but yeah, let's do it again then. Oh, wrong button. Let's do it again. npm run dev, right? Here we are. Let's start with the collection. I'm gonna open the hehehe collection, and I'm gonna visit my own page. YouTube channel is hidden, but I can see it because it's mine. Now I'm gonna open incognito and open it here, unauthenticated. We don't see it, but I'm gonna log in now with the other user that I have, not with GitHub, but with plain email and password. Sign in. There we go. We're gonna fix this. This is basically sign in with password does not return, I think, anything. It redirects, so that means we can't expect this to return and then do some stuff like this. Yeah, I need to fix this, but this is basically just ZSA, type of issue. Okay, we are logged in, right? I'm gonna create. I got collections of my own as well, because this is the other user, and this is gonna be like he instead. Let's create this one and create a link as well. Let's put in my website that I don't maintain. Personal websites. Okay, so I have a collection of my own, but I can also see a different collection. Right, I am authenticated. Here I am with the missing features for user profiles and stuff. That's next what I need to do, but I am authenticated, and if I open this as authenticated user, let's go to application, let's go to where is it? Not local storage but cookies. There we go. We have a localhost authentication token that points to the username password user, and it doesn't see the YouTube link because it's hidden. The original account does see it because it's it's theirs, and I need to change the grayed out or do something like that. It's to make sure to indicate that this is a hidden link, even though you see it, it's not visible here. And I can do the same for this. So I have two links, collection links now, because I actually, there we go. This is not one because I clicked the button twice. That's what you need to pay attention to. Okay, there we go. So if I view my collection, I'm gonna add a new link here. And what should this be? Let's add, I don't know, twitter.com/Nikolov Lazar. It's gonna be Twitter profile. And then go ahead and follow me if you use Twitter, but I'm gonna hide this for now. I can see it in my account, right? But if I go back to the GitHub account and open this, I'm only going to see personal website, but not the Twitter one, because it's, it's invisible. Let me turn it on, refresh, there it is. Hide it, refresh, there it is. So yeah, everything is working as it should, thankfully. Basically, I can just push this and deploy this to production now, because it does feel like everything is, working. Yeah. Because if you do this on bfair.sh, you're not gonna be successful. Even though there's like a, it's not working. The only thing that's working and it's really cool is that you can take all of these icons and just like, pew, just like throw them around and spend 15 minutes on this instead of, going about your day and, finishing your work. But yeah, if you try to do this on the production one, it's just not gonna work. I tried to use it. Do we have a link? No. I tried to use it. Oh yeah, we're in this one as well. I tried to use it for one image. Let me show you. And I noticed that it happens there. So I created a link that points to this picture. So bfair.sh points to this picture. And it works, right? But if I send you the link, what is? Yeah, nevertheless, I was gonna send you in the chat, but it's behaving weird. If I do this in incognito, bfair.sh/this, it's gonna be like, oh no, and this is the error that we just fixed, by the way. So production does not work. This works. If I merge this branch into production, it's gonna work, but it's not gonna happen. I mean, might as well just do that, but we need to run the tests. We need to implement unit tests for our use cases. And that's going to validate that our architecture is doing its thing, that it's allowing us to write better code, to write code that is testable, but then it's also predictable. So yeah, what is this? This has been a 4-hour stream. Imagine that. This has been a 4-hour stream, and we've done so freaking much. But yeah, we still need to write some tests. We're not done yet. And I'm gonna say that that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. I see 15 of you right now watching us. Yeah, thanks for watching. Let's see if I can do Monday again at the same time, because I was trying to follow this pace of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. EST. Let's try to do Monday. I feel like we have the infrastructure. We have the infrastructure. We have the project where we can start writing tests in, and I'm thinking we're gonna use v-tests maybe, or if we want to use this one, TS-Arch. It does use jests, but it's like a jest extension. It doesn't. I don't think it needs to be jests. We'll see. We can try v-tests. We'll see if we'll try to write the architecture tests. If this is not working, we're still gonna be fine, because our functionality is gonna work. If we can test the architecture, cool, thumbs up. If not, it's all good, no big deal. It's important that we are able to test our functionality, our logic, but not the architecture. So yeah, Ginger Kiwi, a regular schedule is always lovely. Exactly, yeah. It's even better for me, because my life is predictable as well. All right, so thank you all for tuning in. This was a really cool live stream. We accomplished so much, and we are, I think, just a few steps away from wrapping this whole series up and actually working on the official tutorial, or I'm gonna say it's gonna be a course, a multi-lesson course. I'm just gonna, drop it in YouTube, where we're gonna be building a to-do or something, a demo project from scratch. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. Let's aim for Monday at the same time, 10 a.m. EST. So I'm gonna see you all there. All right, take care. Bye bye.